Right? I'm double guessing myself here. Yeah.
I'll open up your Twitch too to give you.
Cute.
So I can keep an eye on the chat as well.
Oh, I forgot my phone.
How do you forget your phone all the time?
I don't know.
Like I would just charge it.
You should have seen the other day how everybody felt when my phone was fully charged and everyone else's was like almost dead.
Yeah, it was the weirdest feeling. Like mine and Riss were like, "Oh, we need to go home soon." We're like, "Why? Our phone's about to die." He's like, "Really? My phone's like at 50." We're like, "What?" Never been at 50 since the day it was open.
I think I've ever talked to Leon about him being like, "Yeah, I got like 8% on my phone."
Exactly.
Cynical says, "Hey!" Exclamation point! Exclamation point!
Let's go, Kill. Alright, we'll see how long I can view chat for now. With 50% battery. Can't wait to go over the legendary Matami thread. Every time I've introduced Matami to a story or to a person, I always bring it up. Finally get
yeah.
Finally get Marcus's feelings on it. Because that was back in the day before we did like review threads.
Like, I'm gonna be honest. I think that time period, I think that is the peak of 259.
Oh yeah, the full-on territory wars when the world ended.
Yeah, I feel like you had a pretty decent story going along. The world was small enough that you got overwhelmed. It was still packed full of. There was few enough factions that each one had a robust amount of players, and that left a lot of room for the players to continue driving the action without needing a GM for everything as well, since they were the ones creating terms of it.
Yeah.
Which I think left you free to GM the things that you cared about a lot more.
True enough. I get, I don't know, like uppity, I guess, or anxious about moving story forward because I feel like if we're in one environment for too long, I'm getting stagnant.
That's fair, but just so you know, uppity and anxious are very different things.
Not for me, man. Like my uppityness kicks in, and then my fucking anxiety jumps in, and it's like, hey, man, I know you really want to move story, but guess what? Everyone else fucking hates this story, and you're a piece of shit. And I was like, oh no. All right, we're moving on.
Listen, that was just a mask. That's fucking fine, but yeah, the masks. Also, apparently, for some reason, people really did not like the idea of Leon Matthew and David having a.
Look, man, they didn't like aliens.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. The other day told me that he did not like the alien twist. I was like, do not tell Leon that.
No, it's fine. I've come to accept it.
I was expecting more like this show ended with aliens too.
Look.
Okay, so I may not have been the biggest fan of the alien. However, if I'm going to accept God magic and all the and fucking bleach masks. I'm not. My line in the sand is not going to be aliens at that point. I've come too far.
it was it was a hard line for a lot of people, and I crossed it.
And I'm like, dude, like if you're already willing to accept and have a non-ironic conversation with Zeus, the fuck are you like up about with aliens? We've already crossed the point of no return. At that point, I was just like, fuck it. I don't like the mask thing, but let's see where this fucking goes because it's gonna get somewhere I'm gonna like eventually.
Yeah.
That's how it normally goes.
I don't know. Ever since then, I like watch a TV show, and it'll be really cool. And then like season 2 or 3, they'll introduce the fact that everything was like aliens. And I'll just turn the show off.
I've literally been in the other room to hear fucking aliens again.
I probably would have hated the mask thing a lot less, except I fucking hate it.
Fair.
Oh, hollow mask. Fuck this.
Pretty much. I had combined.
Fucking hate it.
Yeah.
Much more tolerable. Like no.
Right. I combined the hollow masks with bio boosted armor Guyver. Which by the way is still one of my favorite animes.
No.
But everyone focused. Yeah, there was also aliens though. Everyone focused so hard on the hollow part of the masks, and I was like, no, their functionality is fucking fundamentally different. Nobody cared.
Yeah,
They look like hollow masks.
So fucking mainstream. That's of course.
I know.
And I mean this in the least offensive way possible, and it's not just people on 259. This is about role players from 2 decades of experience in a multitude of sites across multiple different hosts. Fucking our peers are lazy.
They are.
They will take the path of least resistance every goddamn time, myself included.
It's true.
Like,
I think the path of resistance, I ended up hitting a wall that was not meant to be hit.
we didn't really hit a wall that was supposed to be hit in the alt world I did for Drake. If anything, you actually took an unexpected route that just bypassed 3 dungeons.
Yeah.
That also seems to be something I accidentally did a lot, and Leon's not happy with me.
No.
I was fine with it. It locked you into the poison instead of getting a chance at the fire crystal. At the end of the day, it really makes no difference to me who gets what crystal because they're all going to get. The only thing I really care about is that no one gets a crystal that's like on the nose for them. Leon doesn't get a lightning crystal ever.
Yeah, totally,
Makes sense.
Totally understandable. I mean, I enjoyed the thread. It was cool. I really liked how the alt world turned it out, and the growth that Drake got from it was not what I was expecting.
Very excited to see what happens when Drake comes back to the alt world and like, fine.
Very concerned. We've decided because Dark is full grown now, would not have left the flower. So I think the exchange is that I don't have Dark anymore, but Dark still has the flower somewhere in the old world.
Do you want a spoiler?
No. I mean, yes, but no.
Okay. I will say this though. That makes sense to me, and I will incorporate that. Dark will be with the flower.
Right, cool.
I am 100% down to incorporate that. I think that is a 100% fair compromise on that whole thing.
That sounds ominous.
It really does, doesn't it?
We'll see when you end up back in hell.
Oh, God.
And yeah, I told Leon, since I know he wants to be a player, for the most part, I'm down GMing most of the things for him. There's a couple of things I will need him to GM for me. For instance, he chose Pride, so he would need to GM Pride getting his control, just because I can't GM.
Right.
And I refuse
no,
to have
I know
that
that.
off screen. Yeah, I was like, well, which one of my characters do you think should get the crystal? But Matthew's not allowed to get one because Matthew is going to be mostly just back burner and helping their goals. His story's really.
I also feel like Matthew would eat his crystal.
I mean,
Just to
he
see what
probably
happens.
would, and he probably would, and get something on for it and something horrible for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that is legitimate. He probably would eat. Also, Leon, did you want to? I was telling Joy one of the things that John's going to get from the thread. Do you want a sneak peek at one of your rewards?
Sure.
The heart blood of Poseidon.
Oh no.
Poseidon's dried blood has now stained your and can never be removed. When using this blade, you may expend an additional chi use for any of your chi uses, and 2 instead of 1.
Yeah.
To make it work again as if it was for water, as if it was fire.
That's sick. I dig it. Yeah, Joyce says, don't eat an earth crystal. Yes.
So
Meta.
basically,
Sure.
you would be able to do fire and take double the chi. So I don't think it's something, but it's something that I think he would love having in his pocket.
That's true.
And it would work for any of his chi abilities. He could do it as if it was a fire. So he could do a water fucking stream. All of that crap. Flamethrower.
Nice.
Dig it.
Yeah.
It has to be bubble beam, not like a full water.
I mean, that is up to John. But I will leave the other things that he will be unlocking for when the thread is finished. But I thought you would like that one to kind of get an idea of the fact that you will have things to look forward to for all of these horrible choices you have.
They are pretty gruesome.
I tried to reassure Liam, like, don't be stressed because no matter what you choose, a bunch of people are going to die. You physically cannot save everyone. So just go with it because, I was going to have most of the gods die anyways during this time. It's the second end of the world right after another end of the world, which took place years after the first end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, this is a chance for a player to kind of shape it, like around.
And
One thing that John will get is a seat at the table.
the other day I was thinking about like just John's story in general, and it is entirely fucked up because he's the original 259 staple character for me. Like he was on 259 before I transferred Leon over.
Was it we discovered just yesterday that you realized that John was the last surviving original member, or oldest surviving original member?
Of 259, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
He's been through all of it. It's gonna be a longer than usual stream today.
That is. All right, we got plenty to talk about in this round.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, I don't have the battery life to talk about this stuff in the roundtable, but we'll get through it.
Plug your phone in while streaming. My God.
But
Literally at your computer.
but then I have to get up and go find the fucking plug, and I'm lazy. I just cooked.
Jake, will you bring him a phone charger?
I will find you a phone charger.
Jesus, thank you, Finn. Come on, Leon. Actually, I've got my phone chat open on my desk here, plugged in, so that it's not have to worry about it dying.
Look, man, like you said earlier, I'm an RPer. I am innately lazy. Path of least resistance, bro.
So, I can talking about some of the things I have planned for God territory and just like thematics that I want to explore. New old world. While we're waiting for Obsidian
Small
Dragon.
one first.
All right. Yeah, we can talk about plot ideas and stuff like that. It's fine with me.
So,
We're plugged in.
hooray!
Not
Hooray!
only did I get one, I got him 2 cords just in case.
Yeah, one's like really, really small though.
You're a true hero. So, like I mentioned, for the gods, a lot of it I really wanted to be and then establishing the new mythology. Can be a prime time for characters to try to become gods if that's what they want to do.
Yeah.
A lot of slots are going to be opened up because of this apocalypse. However, even in this dire moment, I will be keeping the if you fail, there is no second chance. Become
Nice.
a god. You might still be able to become a monster or a hero, but not a god. You can't just be like, well, I'm going to just keep trying to get until I get her. Or, well, if I can't be Athena, maybe I'll be Apollo or Artemis, Thor. Luck in the one.
Right.
So it's I know what Adam was saying when he is for Kane is that it was very stressful for him because he really did not want to fail because that's like Kane's whole character.
Yeah.
But it gave it a lot of stakes and it made the thread mean
Oh yeah.
like his decisions really mattered and he almost failed. He was about a post away from failing.
Hardcore.
Well, because each challenge is different because the challenge is based on what you want.
True.
So in his case, he wanted to be a god here in Dread, and so he had to face Matthew. Ares is the one that commands Phobos and Deimos. Ares.
Yeah.
So he had to face Ares, and he fought him at Hephaestus Forge, basically in a cave of earth inside of a mountain surrounded by lava. And Ares is in his full thing with all of his gear and everything, and is like summoning the souls of warriors with like legendary weapons that never miss and do all kinds of bullshit.
Oh yeah.
And so he has to fight Matthew. And like, how do you do that? And the answer really was in this case, the goal, the victory condition is not to beat Matthew because you're not going to beat Matthew here. This is not a fair fight. The victory condition was he had grabbed a weapon, and it was an imperfect weapon. So it was a sentient weapon that was super strong, but it was also cowardly. This thing was screaming at him to flee, to run away. He almost did. If he had run away, then his fear would have mastered him, unless he can fear, unless he can't be a god of it.
Makes sense.
But he did it. So
That sounds like
yeah,
fun.
if he had actually fled the battle full on, he would have failed. He would have failed his test. Never be a god. Never. Apollo would have a very different test. With Aphrodite. John's lucky that he got to be a god and have that made canon before I took over it because that probably would be a hard challenge.
Right.
I don't know if he would have had to craft something or just enjoy Matthew fucking his girlfriend. I don't know.
Damn.
And thankfully, never needed it. Well, I mean, Ares and
Yeah, I know. Maybe he would have had to be cast from Mount Olympus by Zeus.
right?
Sick.
So, hey, Poseidon's open, so if you want to audition there, that was probably super easy. One of the big three, probably super easy.
Hephaestus son. It's just John is so distraught about having to do that.
I know. Just wait till this is all done. He has time to process it.
Oh,
Stop.
gonna go back to drugs.
Can't go back.
I know he's gonna. Is this a wild mushroom? Just eat it, poisoned.
And Dionysus is gone, so like all the wine that they have is probably what they need for the not like in
Oh,
fun. Man,
this poor
why
man.
did all the gods that have the mind bending things to make you think about reality have to die in fucking terrible reality?
Right. This is like the worst time for him to quit drugs.
It's a hard time to be sober. It is a hard time to be sober. On the plus side, at least you'll have a couple of years though. 2 years or so before everyone else comes. So by the time like Kane and Kaya and the rest get there from not destroyed, John will have a couple of years to get his shit.
That's true. Because the very last character developing thing that he did was to get off the drugs and deal with the repercussions of cold turkey. Yeah, so the draw is still there, like the possibility of relapsing and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's probably gonna be his 2 years. Get his coin,
Which he can forge.
right? Made himself a sobriety coin.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I'll be interested to see what John does. I'm really going to be interested to see how John's going to interact with Matthew E, Kate, and Kaya, and if any of Godling, God wannabes show up to help with it. I'll be very curious. And at this point, like, going to have a seat at the table with Zeus, Odin, and Matthew.
Yeah.
Hephaestus has moved up in the world.
Yeah, from the limping outcast to sitting at the big table.
Yeah, and Anubis because Ra's dead.
Yeah.
And because you left the Shadow Guy to fight Warrior alone. Set is dead.
Ah, I liked Set.
Yeah. If it makes you feel any better, the Shadow Guy's still alive.
I mean, that is a bit of a upbeat moment for me.
You can still fight him. Yeah, the Egyptians are going to get hit really hard since he went to the aid of the North. The Egyptians will get hit hard.
Yeah, that was a callback to his wartime strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Strengthen the powerful and then save the weak.
It makes sense. It makes sense. I can see the logic of it. And yeah, you probably would have had a better success at gathering everybody if you didn't roll.
Right.
Like, well, apparently nobody heard me screaming from Mount Olympus over the din of countless battles and shrieks of countable amount of horrors.
Yeah.
And the mental wailing of two worlds dead.
Yeah. Well, John wasn't holding on to the hope that his one scream would get through to anybody. He was just like, I have to grab this god and we have to get somewhere safe. I'm sorry.
Is he ever going to correct Hermes about who gets the credit, or is he just going to let Freya have it?
Depends on if Hermes stops to take a breath.
We both know he's
Because John,
Hermes has so much shit to do right now.
because like later on, if Hermes just comes around talking about it and giving Freya the credit, and John like tries to say something because he doesn't want to interrupt, and Hermes just bounces after giving her credit, he's just gonna be like, well, all right. Because he really does want to correct Hermes, but he can't get a word in edgewise.
Awesome. It's a busy time to be a psychopomp and messenger of the god.
Right.
And god of healing. I'd never get it. And probably flying halfway across the world to introduce Matthew as he walks into the bar or something.
Right.
In the middle of this crisis.
That makes
Damn if that man's not a stickler for all of his titles being
every single one.
Every single time.
He's like, look, I went on a long expedition to get these titles. You're gonna say them.
I put in a lot of work. While other kids were trying to get Pokemon badges to become Pokemon masters, he mastered the title.
Right. man.
He's like, you said, "Could your life to be called a Pokemon Master?" Me, I've got like 16 other titles that are just as prestigious, if not more. Who's the real lead?
Right? Like I still will like GM little side things, but I'm not gonna hit um major plots like I used to until it's my turn
Oh,
again.
scroll back down. And one looks like you have
Wait.
like Joy there. Is that Joy?
Here?
That looks like Joy. Yeah, the girl.
That is Linda Osaka's daughter.
What's the play by?
That's Raven from Ruby.
Okay. She looks so much like Joy.
Very close, yeah.
Except she is wearing too much clothes.
Right. And then Bone Dragon's son, brother. Yeah. Got so many NPCs.
Yeah, no, Endured's gonna be.
Right?
I'm admittedly really excited for leveled up Rangers.
Look, it's the old Ares armor.
Those were the days.
Old Ares. Oh no, I've lost a god. Damn Lynx.
They probably died.
Right.
Don't worry about it. That's a good one.
I really liked the design of this character.
But yeah, so I've got God Territory. I wanted to be kind of like a city builder, management sim. You're gonna have to try to get domains up. I've really explore like what a domain means,
Yeah.
which I think could be really cool. Like I said for Aurora, I kind of want to make a map and bring it back to like 5.9 territory map, and just periodically have big fights to take over a hunk of that.
Yeah.
Aatlan, if and when somebody goes there to try and get all of their knowledge and treasure, that'll be fun.
Hell yeah.
That's gonna be a D&D camp because you're gonna be going into the necropolis,
I'm about it.
the flying necropolis.
Yeah, like I know Sektos wants to go back to Aatlan for his notes and stuff.
I
Because
know Joy's back and forth on that run. I say it depends entirely on if she does, but Paul's not there.
yeah,
Also, your actually browser on. Yep. Okay, it's just my browser.
okay.
Like I said, Rona's patron still he's gonna live just off that avenue. Rona.
Yulp.
So I will be curious on if she takes it or not.
I mean, it's a bit of a left turn from what she was intending, but I don't see where it would be unreasonable.
I mean, it's. I think if it's the patron that you said that she rolled,
Yeah.
that's the most important. If it's the patron, it doesn't have to fit her at all because she gets to make.
Right.
Does.
Now, where's the Frost guy?
Oh, the one that Blake fought?
Yeah. I bet he's this one that's broken. Son of a bitch.
Probably. was a fun fight, though.
I remember the play-by, but I just don't want to go looking for it again.
Yeah, I was fully expecting in that thread for Blake.
Got close a couple times.
I did. I was like, listen, Blake's not doing the smart play. Because Blake doesn't do.
Yeah. But luckily enough, his allies had grown enough to assist.
I mean, Virgil really Virgil.
I still enjoy the memory of hearing you go, "What the fuck?"
Not expecting that. I was like, all right, what tricks do I still have left up my sleeve? And I'm like looking at my stuff. I'm like, I want to play this card. I want to hold this one for another round or two. But I was getting ready to play to like really just lay his hand. See where the cards lay.
Yup.
But I mean, that's always been more important to me. If I'm gonna die, I want to have a good. Boy, that would have been.
Oh yeah. I was enjoying that whole thread thoroughly. Oh, he's wearing glasses.
I was surprised that I successfully was able to roll using the ring to kind of do fucking just surrender and send the truth. That was a lucky.
Oh yeah.
That saved me a lot of cheese.
It really did. It had you prepared for the fight with the frost guy.
Yeah, no, that would have been a really fucking rough fight if I come back from fighting the other dude.
Yup. I get to keep the Haikage picture, but I lose the picture of the frost guy. Thanks.
Yeah, but that's the Haikage of the weed. And if Elias is going to save Leon, he's got to do it on the soul.
So instead of Snoop Dogg and the Soul Plane, it's going to be the Haikage and the Soul Train.
No, I was thinking like the fucking. I'll pop it in the like a dance, man. You just got to do this, and just like scrolls into the underworld. Save Leon.
Perfect.
The only way to do it. The Sudeki clan won't know what hit it. Start busting up moves like that guy. Hands up.
He was dead, I swear.
Going back away. This is beyond us. Moves like that. That's too.
Nobody else is going to read like these bloodlines, and I still made a joke to myself. I lost both of my holder images. Damn.
And
Hardcore.
okay, Kale's bloodline's too.
Right, two of them had to kill themselves off.
And the half holder. Can't contain us. the rippling biceps.
Yeah, everyone in the Aimtrim clan, besides the females, are just fucking ripped.
Yeah. Again, props on fucking Joy for soloing Matthew's Pa and Ma at the same time.
Right?
Like, major props on Joy. He lasted surprisingly long.
That was also really fun to write.
Yeah, no, I know. Still feel bad that as soon as they all got up there, Tony blows up the crystal accident. Gal said if anyone damages the crystal, it blows. So,
Yeah.
fun guys, everybody at point blank range. Oh, boom!
All right, I'm back.
Welcome
Hey,
back.
welcome back.
Yeah, I still didn't know what to do with John's bloodline, so I just grabbed a bunch of Pokemon Gajinkas and put them in there.
Oh, you see, I was using like Final Fantasy.
Yeah, yeah, but I couldn't find
I
Final
mean-
Fantasy Gajinkas.
Well, because like one of them was going to be X2.
Right on, of course.
Yeah, my goal was basically to have like a bunch of guys that John wishes, a bunch of girls that John,
It's fair.
and but they're all fucking related.
Be super
Family
depressing. Family does suck.
That was my plan. Yeah, and then to basically give them like Final Fantasy like, summons. So the Tonberry, Scar.
Fucking as soon as the Tomberry appeared in that fucking thread, though, I was like, this is the thread John dies.
Boink.
I'm like I had played Final Fantasy 3 through 7 and never once got a game over. I played Final Fantasy 8, hit a Tonberry, and died.
And the zone of just Tonberries.
Yeah, in the zone of just Tonberries.
Tonberry King.
Yup. It was the first time I ever got a game over, and ever since then I've just had a thing about hating Tonberries.
Best thing is if the ultimate ability, instead of like summoning Bahamut or something cool, John turns. Even better if he learns that ability from the hot one.
Ugh.
She turns to the north. What has been seen cannot be
Jeez.
that was like the
Yeah.
dream.
I mean, it can still happen since John's going to become one of my primaries again.
Yeah, that's so. Yeah, I don't know if you got anything for Aurora or if I should be coming up with shit for Aurora. I've been focusing on God and Scotland. I mean, I can come up.
I mean, I've got Cabal, half of the Badlands, and I can do Aurora. That shouldn't be an issue.
We decided last night Vindicta basically saw this as paradise on Earth as soon as hell hit, and basically have been chasing anything that has to do with chains
I
because
imagine, I imagine that's accurate. Just like Zakunt is probably nothing now.
Yeah.
So Figs, not heard this yet. Her name's Partial.
Okay.
So my thought is that when the worlds collide, Territory 1 is kind of half used another Territory 1. So like the city is doubled in.
Okay.
And so it's still like this horrible smuggling hole full of like the worst people surviving in this with a bunch of fucking arcane shit that you can't get anywhere else. However, now there are two punks versions of Punk's brat. They are on opposite sides of the like a civil war is going on between crime families, which are just fucking copies of each universe's Punk family
It's great.
in Territory One.
How does anything get done?
Because they're still really green still,
Makes
and
sense.
so it would be like old 5-9 before the world.
Oh yeah.
With the gang wars, that's what it would be. It would be like the city is still doing its thing, but then all of a sudden, fucking Tina just shows up and is throwing like fucking bombs everywhere. Meanwhile, Greg on the opposite side starts like puppeting people and stuff like that as they're like fighting.
Yes. Dig this.
And then over the intercoms, and they just hear like two separate punks basically talking about how they have true dominion over this land. As they both cower in their respective bunkers with respective harems and money pits.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, he's not going to go out and fight. He could get hurt. Listen. That's why he still has guns.
So I've always had this one Barker experiment sitting on the sidelines.
The nice looking one or the bad looking one?
This one.
Okay, the nice looking one.
Just waiting for the opportunity to be important, which never happened, but it's okay. But basically, it's a clone made out of the DNA that Barker had of the 3 Dragon Elders. Just kind of combined,
And that man's going to have the most unremarkable.
right? So amazingly average.
Nothing to write home about.
Nope. Why is it on there twice?
Question, does he also have a Speedo?
Probably.
Of course. I don't even really want to look at this one.
My channel.
Just
It's going to make me cry.
gonna crash my Discord real quick. Go up. Further. No, I think my Discord crashed.
I think
Oh,
it did too.
no.
No, did it jump? No. Up.
Skip. Give it some time, John.
Right. Trying to work it. Are we gonna go up again? Stop. Okay.
What are you looking for?
I'm just looking at play. Oh look, the Grand Crest War. We were talking about that the other day.
Again, it was a surprisingly good anime. I really think you would like it.
Yeah, no, I agreed. I really enjoyed it.
The main female character, me and Joy were watching, we're like, wow, this is like a weird hybrid of Bailey and more Evelyn in the early episodes where like she's the one that's like super in charge.
Yeah.
Also
Oh, yeah.
also that outfit. I had to wear. Damn. I'm like, man, that cape is sick, but why are you showing so much of your like your pelvis stuff? That is not practical for combat, traveling, walking across the continent.
Right. 100% bad.
I also saw a Queen's Blade character there.
Oh yeah. God damn it, where were we?
No, I was telling Leon he needs to watch the. Never seen it.
I started watching it
I've
last
heard
night
of it.
actually. I am on season
I've
2.
never watched it, but I've heard it's still really good.
You both need to watch it. The basic premise is the four main characters. They died. They wake up and they're in the good place. Afterlife, and there's good, bad place. Except one of the characters realizes that she doesn't actually belong in the good place, and there was a mistake because there was another person that's supposed to be there with her exact name, who did like all of this like philanthropy stuff, like help feeding orphans in like Hungary or like Africa and things like that, like war torn country. Like there's a part where they go to a restaurant and they'll have like their favorite meal in life, and hers is nothing on her plate because her favorite meal was the hunger strike she did in like Bulgaria. Because that's like the meal that had like the most impact on her life. Where like Chidi, one of the other main characters, like his grandma's fish that she growing up.
And when I first started watching it, I was like, oh man, Chidi and John Yu, I love these characters.
You are gonna love John Yu. You actually sit and watch the show. I swear to God, John Yu's gonna be your fucking character.
I'm on season 2, and John Yu has
Yeah.
remained my favorite so far.
Yep. My favorite's Michael. I think Joy's favorite's. I do love Janet's facial expression. So yeah, Figs, I would highly recommend watching the. It is fantastic. Yeah. So basically, Eleanor, you're also matched with your soulmate, Eleanor, main character. He's matched with one of the other humans, one of the main characters. And in life, he happened to be a moral philosophy professor. So she convinces him to basically help teach her to be a good person so that she can. So every episode has like some philosophy to kind of learn.
It's cool.
Philosophical things. And it's a complete story. When the last episode is done, the whole show is done. It is resolved.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yep. It did not get canceled. It finished.
That's cool.
So I mean, that alone to me is like, yeah, this is what. It's like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's good.
I much prefer whenever you get a show that you're really into and it doesn't sit there and go, well, we wanted to finish this, so this is what we got, though.
Mm-hmm. Season 2 kind of feels like a little at the start, like it's too close to season 1, but the payoff towards the end of season going into season 3 makes it all worth it. It's building up for something else. So the start of season 2, it gets a little like repetitive, but it is actually building. And that's pretty much all I'll say because I don't want to spoil things, but highly recommend. Also, that is free
On Earth.
Yeah, I was building nightmare fuel for somebody's bloodline stuff.
there.
But then that person didn't explore their bloodline, so I didn't get to use it. Yeah.
Well, hey, we now live, Elderworld is nothing but nightmare fuel, so there you go.
A lot to it. And hey, at least when Drake goes back to the old world, he'll have a bit of nostalgia.
Right?
Well, I mean, he's already kind of been to something like
that. Right? Oh, God. The Blight.
Yeah. Except different because every world's a little bit different. But same idea. Apparently, this world has a bunch of flaming like black shadow monsters.
I feel like the first time he runs to a blight-like monster in Old World, he's gonna be like, "Fine, I want to go back. I want to go back."
Portal closes. Fuck! No!
Like one of the things I feel like, because one of the things I've been exploring with Drake in this new world is that he's like, I don't like how nice it is here. I liked our old world and how shitty it was. So I can't wait for him to go back and be like, never mind, it's shittier than I remember. It's shittier than I remember.
I mean, to be fair, it is shittier than.
Yeah.
Oh, Shadow Side from Persona.
Mm-hmm.
No, like I plan on reusing some of the stuff that Sektos encountered as well during his crystal.
Oh, right on.
Fucking Phyraxian.
Yeah.
That's a nightmare.
Yeah, he wasn't about that. He was like, it's inside my skin. I'm not okay.
Drake experienced the inside my skin. He cut off his arm.
Noticed.
Not that inside his skin stuff.
Yeah. there's a lot of crap. Poseidon was starting to have it. If you remember the black lines going up from his.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Drake would have been more okay with it, but man, you hit a hard no for me when you started like, oh, maggots are inside of you. I was like, oh nope, can't handle it.
That's fair. Let's see. If you read the opening post, like of Olympus, Karen was literally being ripped.
I didn't read it, but John was telling me about it.
She was literally ripped in half, top of the head down.
Oh.
And Hades is like pushing her back together.
Oh man.
Well, because she's kind of already dead.
Yeah.
But also kind of not. Cerberus died. He jumped into the river Styx to try to pull the thing off of Karen and was snapping and dismembering as he withered away like he fucking drank from the wrong holy.
Oh.
And he washed up on the shore, just bones, holding, like, with his maws just, like, clamped on these severed limbs. He was a good puppers.
He died the goodest boy.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been a pretty decent alley play by.
Yeah, like I was trying to find something for Joy to like send her alley playbys, but I couldn't find anything that didn't have a fucking boob window.
The thing is that with Allie and how self-conscious she probably would have welcomed something to fill it like that.
Right?
I really appreciate a lot of things that Joy, like Allie, a lot of her. Some of the tropes and insecurities that she lets her characters really lean. I have a lot of respect.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Actually, one of the things that got me interested in her, which then led to me dating her, which then led to me marrying her. Because we met on a roleplay site.
Yeah.
Her first character, love interest, was actually one of Leon's characters.
True.
Strike.
A strike.
Not the one you know.
Paradigm.
Yeah, the Paradigm Strike.
Lamp gun.
Paradigm Strike was pretty great. I'm not gonna lie.
Lamp Gun Strike.
That's pinnacle strike. Of all of the incarnations of strike, no strike will ever top lamp.
Lamp Gun was great.
Also, that fight with Beta, still one of my favorite fights I've had with you.
Oh, it's definitely top. Definitely top.
Were you around for that one, Figs?
I feel like I remember the name Beta, but I'm not sure.
So, a quick recap: John Strike, former Hyperion soldier. His powers basically he builds up kinetic energy and then expels it.
Okay, yeah.
So Beta is early experiment of the map process, which is their version of map. So all of the early experiments have horrible side effects. For instance, Jimothy Clavish, he can come back to life every time he dies and has like Wolverine like regeneration. But whenever he dies, he loses memories.
Okay.
As the resurrection process isn't perfect and neurons get
Makes
so
sense.
Beta can control and manipulate acid, generate acid.
That's pretty.
However, all of his bodily fluids are acid. Blood is acid, ears acid, acid.
He was xenomorphed to the max.
His pee is acid.
It's like the peak of a xenomorph.
Kind of. And so he's immune to it. So like John is fighting him and they're in this big fist fight. And Beta is beating the crap out of him. Like he's beating the crap out of Beta. The more he beats the crap out of Beta, he just starts leaking acid too.
Yeah.
And so it's not a great fight for John. But he wins. He actually does win that fight.
How do you manage that?
It took a lot.
It was kind of a pride victory. John was really fucked up, and it was really lucky for John that this was before we had our powers reset, so we still had a healer.
Yep.
Nice.
Like, I had restricted John to only using gear that he's looted. So it was like 2 pistols and some body armor. and he used up both pistols, I believe, or one of them was actually destroyed by the acid, and then he got acid on his body armor, so he had to drop that.
Yeah, I remember he can generate acid. So like he grabs your fucking gun and he just starts like he punches you and like the sweat residue is sizzling your skin.
Yeah.
So I mean it was an intense fight. Beta's like introduction was there was a plot to assassinate a sitting congressman, a sitting senator in the US government.
Other
And
Leon.
yep, Leon Lior. So their strike team went in, but one of them basically went straight and joined with the good guys. But the senator on live television fought them off too, and fucking stabbed Beta with the American flag like it was.
Nice.
Needless to say, he got reelected.
Yeah. I'd definitely vote for that guy.
Right? Like terrorists attack you mid speech in the Capitol, and you stay and help fist fight them, and then stab one with the American flag.
I think I'd vote him for everything he ran for.
Right? Yeah, that was a pretty cool threat. That was a pretty cool. So yeah, no, John Strike was cool. But that's where I met Joy. Was played also in Evelyn, not related to Matthew at all. And she had prehensile hair, so used to make a lot of BDSM jokes about her hair
Yep,
all the time, constantly.
as much as possible.
But she was very, very shy, very grounded, down to earth, and John was like no social skills. Everyone was trying to set them up. At one point, they're like having a talk, and like 6 other player characters are hiding, watching,
Yeah.
and like silently and like whispering, urging like John, like, no, man, take the shot, take the shot. Like we're all just like hiding and watching. Like it was amazing.
And John was having just learned real social skills, uh, like gift giving. Like
Yeah.
today was the day of your birth, apparently, and I was told it was a social construct to give you a gift on that day. I asked, and they said a lamp might be okay, but that's not as much of a utility. So I got you a lamp with a compartment in the back that holds a gun.
Well, no, that's what you gave Kier, not
Yeah,
me.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. He just learned about that kind of thing, and then going into possible relationship, what was he going to do?
Fun fact, Rye, that lamp gun, about a year out of character later, actually was useful when someone broke into Kier's dorm room during an thing where they were attacking Paradigm at night, and she fucking pulled the gun out of the lamp and shot the guy.
Yup.
Nice.
It actually got used.
Yeah. Love
Everyone had forgotten about it. Everyone had forgotten about it. Like, no, Tanya, you got a lamp gun. What? The lamp. Remember, John gave you the lamp with a gun. She's like, that's right. Holy crap. He takes the gun.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I love when things like that happen. Whenever you have something like that seemingly like meaningless or like not useful, and then just come back so much later. Boom, there's this item I had from like nowhere.
Yeah.
I love when that happens.
It's really great.
Yeah, I got a message about it. They were like, Kier used the lamp gun, and I was like, what? She had to use the lamp gun. Oh god! And then they linked me, and I read it, and I couldn't stop laughing.
It was pretty great. I was amazed. No, yeah, and I was talking to like Adam and Lisa and them, talking to them about Lucifer, and I was kind of just thinking, I'm wondering if anyone got some of the no one's thought about it yet.
Yeah, I tried very specifically. Like Charlie asked me a few times, like, had anything planned for Lucifer. I was like, I don't want to touch Ryan's NPC because I don't know if anything he's got planned, so I don't want to ruin anything that he's got planned. The only thing that I had him involved in, quote unquote, is that he, Ryan, Zapham both all three agreed that the apartment should be set up for the betas. That's the only thing Lucifer had a hand in so far.
I mean, Charlie was welcome to message me at any time and ask me anything.
That's what I told her. I was like, if you've got any questions, ask him. It's like I did not want to take over anything from your story because I didn't want you to come back and be like, wait, what happened?
Yeah, the last time Charlie messaged me was in June. That was to ask about a link for. I just assumed she never had any questions about Lucifer.
Well, I think in June is whenever I started the main event, and then a bunch of things happened, and then I ended up dropping out of the board for a little bit because like stuff was going on just IRL, and then I was moving, and then this, that, and the other, and I really didn't finish it until just after I got here. And then that's when the story started kickballing again.
That's fair. It's been a really cool year.
It has.
2020 has been. No, I told Joy when she gets Ash done that.
Which I need to transfer her character over, but I approved it earlier today.
Yeah, that's what she was saying. That it was approved. So I was like, well, I can do some Lucifer stuff because she wants some like baseline of ideas of like just how this was.
Yeah.
Also, I told Leon this, but I'll let y'all know too. All of the old characters are still approved. I just need to switch them over. It was just the board was starting to get cluttered, and I was like, hold on, we're gonna clean this up a little bit. Like every character that's been approved is still approved. I just hadn't moved them over yet because I didn't know who was coming back, when, or where.
Oh, I assumed that they were still approved because Leon didn't say anything otherwise. All right. Well, unless I'm told differently.
No, everyone's still approved. I just didn't like. It was one of those. I didn't want people to be like, "Well, my character's not here anymore. Why is that?" No, it's that they've just been archived, but they can come back anytime. Everyone's still good to go.
Never noticed because all my links still work.
That's
like,
totally fair.
Literally never noticed.
Yeah, that was actually a plugin I had to find on the Pro Board support was like, if I move threads, it won't break links. And I was like, this is a great plugin.
That is a plugin that saves a lot of headaches over the.
No, I appreciate that plugin a lot.
Yeah, so no, if you hadn't said anything, I never would have noticed. I didn't even realize that they were archived. I was just like, oh, this still works.
Yeah.
Links still work because I pull up the bio. So.
Yeah, as long as you got the links needed, then don't even worry about it.
Yeah, no. So, like I was telling Leon though, so for each one of like my characters, I kind of have like a side game plan for them. So Blake and Aurora is like old school 259 reclaiming the territory that's been lost. Like our territory is going to be city builder with like simulation stuff, managing domains, rebuilding the city, and all of that stuff. For Pride, Joy, Thorn, and Stigma, since they have like the little cottage, I want them to. I'm hoping, crossing my, that they just like build their cottage up into like a fortress, and they just build tall instead of wide. Make it big enough that they can like farm enough for like the four of them. And just imagine so they've got the stone cottage, which turned into like a stone manor. They build walls. They have like a little garden. They've got their stream and things like that, right? And then like on the walls are like balance positions for like defense against like these monsters. But instead of like really big crossbows with like bolts and like heads and crap, they literally just use the ballistas to aim, and then they punch full on logs, like whole trees at the enemies because all four of them are stupid strong.
Yes.
So they're just like punching full trees at you.
Yeah.
Shit like that. And I'm just like, because like I was telling Joy yesterday, like this is pretty much what Pride and Joy wanted. They already lived in Thorn and Stigma. They already are used to living in shitty. But the end of civilization doesn't respect them. They've always wanted just their own place to call home, and now like they can do like a base builder to build up their thing, the patch of land.
Very nice.
It's also pretty cool because Thorn and Stigma have the exact same thematic pairing as Pride and Joy. Thorn and Joy are both representative of life, and Pride and Stigma are both death.
That's cool. I didn't catch that before, but that's awesome. I like that.
Yeah, and we were really excited with the pairing too because their color palettes are opposite, and their personalities are opposite. Pride, for instance. Now you would think if you're like, oh well, Pride and Joy are life and death. Well, Joy's death because she's fucking dour, angry, and is like super. No, she's life. Life is life is always fighting and clinging and growing. Yeah, Pride's happy-go-lucky and like that, but he's chill. He's content. Death is a lot more static, but he's also very brightly colored because a lot of cultures, they celebrate the death.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was talking to Leon last night. As we're going into this old world stuff, I was like, "It's all really cool," and like I asked him, I was like, "Do I have any characters in Prime?" And so we kind of sat there and talked about it. And there is one Prime character I have left alive. That is Donovan. That got his ass kicked by Arthur, and then never left Vindicta. So I feel like Donovan's just kind of out there enjoying life, fighting these dark armies. He is living his life. But no, I have no idea where I want to put him now. I just like had the fun thought of like, ooh, that's fun, and then that's kind of where I left it.
I'm back.
Back.
Welcome back.
Tayo. What's this image?
Well, just green flower.
Oh. Hmm.
Oh no.
Yeah, I figure what I'm gonna do with Cabal is just like a small town. I'll like half of my NPCs and random rolls and see what's what.
Is Asif still alive?
No, too strong.
Azov Prime should still be alive, right?
Oh yeah, that's fair. Ace of Prime would be alive.
Excellent. Matthew still has 2 more lives to gamble with Asif.
I will be right back. I had a phone call. I should be back here in a moment soon.
All right. Yeah, I don't know if Azov has money to bet with, or if money even matters anymore. Again.
Okay, so here's an Aurora question.
Right? Yep.
So Bailey planted her gamble fruit.
Yes.
So that was in like the city proper by the palace. That's still there, isn't it?
Yep. There's a gamble fruit bush tree.
That means Bailey will use them wisely. Hand them out as goodies. Alternatively, don't hand them out to anyone. Bury them. Grow more gamble fruit.
Asif's just gonna come back or come by Aurora one day. It's like, oh, this is a nice forest. Those fruits look familiar.
Yeah, after the war and the world was saved, brought back.
We'll call it Gamble Forest.
Right? You can come up with like other weird shit that happens just from so many gambles. God, imagine the beat cross pollen
God.
nectar.
Gamble honey.
Arora's 5th best X.
What's this honey gonna taste like? Nobody knows.
What's it gonna do to you? Nobody knows. Oh Lord.
Becomes a new thing to bet on in Territory 1.
I wonder who will win between.
I don't know. I liked Punk Prime.
Punk Prime is pretty great, but also, I mean, Universe 2 Kids. I mean,
Yeah.
Greg just wrecked Allie. Which Tina was it?
Hmm.
Real question.
Well, there's no dick to blow up, so.
I would argue that Territory 1's full of dick.
Well, I mean, between the two of them.
Oh, that's fair. She's not. That's not her only move. It's just her most feared.
It's a dangerous move.
God, I wonder how Marcus would have reacted to.
Ugh.
Joyce defending Team Honor in the chat.
I mean, I did see her blow up a shirt once.
Yeah.
And a tree.
Yeah.
I believe the tree was when she discovered the nuclear power.
I'm surprised she never blew up the crown that David.
Right?
That seemed like a classic team.
Yeah. Oh, hi. God damn it.
Like that.
Hmm.
Are we still moping about that? Jesus, that was like 20 seconds ago.
Right. Tina. Like, what's a grandma?
Right?
Well, I forgot to tell Figs about what I discovered about the Corey items.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Fun guy.
Yeah, you just like Prime Punk because he humiliated me
Hmm.
in front of Strike.
Actually, I like Prime.
Or in front of Ace.
I like Prime Punk from fighting him at the gas station.
I actually like Prime Punk from when he beat that whole fucking Barker underground facility on his own.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was top tier Punk. Fucked up. I'm glad I spent so many resources on making items have no stat boost, all of these effect boosts. Like, oh, he's got a filtration unit. Got toxin. Oh, he can do this. Oh, he can do that.
Yup. It came in handy with all the traps in the Barker facilities.
Yeah. No, it was like, can I seal the facility? Yeah. Excellent. Can I go to like the air filtration? Oh, so excellent. I'm gonna release a bunch of fucking mixed up fucking vents.
Mm-hmm.
But won't that kill Fire? He's got a filtration thing. Fine. Shit.
Yep. I do like the Barker facility lore.
They were fun. They were fun.
There's still sealed ones that exist, or ones that were never discovered, so on and so forth.
I like to imagine that facility, gas station, that whole like area, that's what Territory 1 is.
Nice.
And like having that facility to himself with like no one else fucking knew about it is part of the reason that he just like has this whole reach.
And what about you, Joy? Do you like the Barker facility lore and all the happy memories?
So many of them. Likes what
Right. Well, there was the genocide, and then releasing Mitsuami.
I mean had to happen.
Yeah. I mean, it's.
Also, not he would kill all of those people.
I mean, it's possible that some of the facilities have survived even past the chains, just because of the way that they're made.
I mean, I imagine so. I was thinking about the rogue experience. I feel like it's probably better for the overall story. I feel like Project Eden would be counter.
Oh yeah.
That's her whole thing is restoring life to the. Although I guess they could have found a better hiding spot and really just be like this one little pocket of like lush green paradise, one little garden of Eden.
True.
Go back to like old school Fallout. You gotta find the gap. Garden of Eden creation kit.
Forgot about that thing. I don't know, I always like to every now and then explore into more of the Barker facilities. It was a good storyline.
I mean, I'm still excited for if anyone plunges enough to find some of the artifacts and um, like the hearts of South America,
Oh yeah.
or some of the Chinese and their hero incarnation.
Yeah.
I'm also really excited for Gatlin,
Mm-hmm.
especially because I'm definitely with the council between in the multiverse that like the High Archmage Gatlin and so you have like the cowardly Leon,
Yeah.
you have like the actual Archmage, have like the Lich, all of them, and it's like just fucking like Leon just like cowering as like the Lich just talking about the progress of like fucking like stereotypical Archmage just stroking his long ass beard like in thought. I am excited to see what Adam's stuff is. I am excited to see what he's got done for Crota.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited to see what he's going to do for Dirt. I am excited for Adam to GM things for me.
Yeah, I've always wanted to see somebody else's interpretation of Proto.
Yeah, no, and this is a great opportunity. I think he's killing off all of the characters that he's not comfortable with, and then like now I feel comfortable with.
That's perfectly okay.
Oh, in this thread we're in, our hell thread. I'm also waiting to see if Lisa GMs in Extra.
Right? Shit. Oh, what happened to John
Really
Strike?
dope.
Oh, is this Universe 2?
Yeah, this is Universe.
Okay.
Probably Jordan and Stick died.
Gonna be weird when Prime Strike comes back.
I mean, not that weird considering some of the analogies where we like if the fucking Proto was the Empire, right? Because Emperor Palpatine, where like some of the characters that Adam has would be like Thor or Han.
What do you mean if? Prime Strike, bro. You do
But
too,
what if he died?
you do so much time manipulation with Prime Strike.
Let's see. Time warp. I'm really just hyped for when the worlds collide again, though, and we can get Kaya back in
Ye-
to the. I guess you're calling it the Shadow World.
Yeah, I'm calling it the Shadow World. Just the combination of the two. What
Yeah,
it?
so I'm excited. I'm excited for Kane and Kaya.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean the items I gave them fucking sick. But I'm glad you like version 4 of the Earth Dragon coat.
I don't think there's been a Earth Dragon quote he doesn't haven't been.
That's fair.
I do miss that times 2 con.
Oof.
God, it was so broken. Hey, perfect time. Big play. Start.
We're still in the prep phase, getting comfy.
So, before we start, how do you want us to address?
Uh, no, honestly, you guys can just.
All right. You know how people are with their real names in the.
Yeah. What about you guys? Like, username's fine, or
You can call me whatever. You can call me Ryan, Rylander, and Matthew, Timothy.
Jimothy? No, I'll probably just call you Ryan. And
Yeah,
I mean,
people
I'd
in
be
real
probably
life.
a little impressed if you remembered to call me Timothy throughout the whole interview. Not a common one. Pretty much just Leon.
Yeah, yeah. And people call me Leon so much. Might as well be my legal name at this point.
yeah.
We're just waiting for Rye to get off the phone and back into the call.
So I would ask if there's any subjects that should be off limits.
Oh, yeah.
We are streaming right now, so probably bringing that up right now would be counterproductive.
Yeah, I figure like if something gets brought up, I'll just be like,
All right, so listen down.
yeah.
Safe. That's a safe word.
Actually, so I'm guessing like, like harsh like rules on like harsh language or anything, right? I just want to make sure.
No,
I
all
don't know
of
if you guys are running a children's podcast at the moment.
no, all of my channels. Yeah, all of my channels have warnings that we might have explicit material.
Oh, okay, awesome.
No, just be natural.
So I could talk about all the anal bondage Marcus has done over his time at 552.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
That's half of what 552 was.
right.
You know, you're not wrong.
That's why I got closed for terms of service.
I came from 552.
Yeah, no. I came in after you guys had the big fucking war against the Dark Queen that like logged all of you out. Like, I showed up right after you guys had like almost an entire year of just fucking straight drunk.
Yeah.
When some mad, like from the way it was described to me by Autumn, it was like some mad hungry chick got a hold of the of admin and just absolutely started just banning everybody.
Yeah.
I heard that story from a few people, and I'm like, oh, I am so glad I avoided all that nonsense.
Yeah. No, boy, oh boy.
Yeah, it was pretty extreme.
I kind of feel like the effects of that had like rippled throughout the entirety of 552's life.
Yeah.
I mean,
It didn't help the bonk. It didn't help the bonk situation.
fuck Bob.
We're back
Which
on this one.
Bonk?
Zip Constantine.
Yeah,
He's
Bonk.
like the main admin.
Bonk was like the only admin for the long time.
I I probably like talked to him once and then not sure.
That's fair. That's usual.
I'm
Yeah.
sure. I'm sure. Out of character, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Oh, was he the kind of guy that played like? Because I knew there was someone on 552 that like played like the rape happy
No, that's someone else.
psychopath.
Someone else different. There was a couple of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, honestly, I couldn't tell you a thing about Bonk's character. It's most of my thoughts and memories of him are him an admin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can tell you a few things about Constantine, but most of my interactions have been Bonk messaging me and, hey, you can't do that. Oh, okay.
Like I kind of want to save the story for when I'm being interviewed, but um, Bonk is the reason the dragons as they are that you know them as,
Yeah, that's true.
and it's not in a good way.
No.
I'll save that for my interview because I'm sure we're gonna have.
Yeah.
That was a big thing.
I'm not gonna lie. I actually wouldn't mind hearing about it.
Long story short, tune in for that interview when it happens.
Mhm.
Whenever Leon skits with me. But long story short, out of character drama turned into fuck you, turned into I'm a ban you, turned into oldies be like, no, me too, and then basically calling the bluff, and then it became a thing.
Yeah.
And that's the genesis for the idea of why all decided out of character to make it so hard to become a legitimate and recognized in.
Yeah.
Is in essence, and long story short, without the details, is because we all put like all of our characters on the line out of character
Hmm.
with all of our stats and everything.
Yeah, if it wasn't a bluff, then you probably wouldn't even have known Leon.
Yeah, we all would have been permabanned, and our threads and bios deleted. So they would not have-
Jesus, you know what? I feel like I've seen evidence of that in because you guys have referenced that before. I feel like you guys have referenced that in a few
we
out of
talked about it.
character.
We talked
Yeah.
about
Okay. Shit. I was wondering about.
it. So
I have a
that's
feeling, like, I honestly have a feeling that with this whole thing, I'm gonna learn some shit. And I had no clue what was going on behind the scenes
Oh yeah.
while
yeah.
I was playing.
but yeah, so that's why we all decided, since we all went through kind of had on like any of us
Yeah.
Could veto, and the veto was binding. He would have to convince this rescind their veto.
Yep.
Otherwise, and then we all had other ground rules, like we would unite and bash anyone title without earning it, because again, this was something we had hard won out of character and kind of like revolted against. But we'd also, since we ranged, since this was out of character coming together, we ranged the gamut of character alignment. Characters really have a lot in common, with the exception of really Leon and Matthew were the only two that like, actually hang out. I mean, we all had like loose connections. We could have, all board every fucking year.
Yeah.
But, like Leon and Matthew were the only two that would really like actually go out and get a beer together if we were like to actually talk about real life. Wise.
Yeah. Leon and Ark would try to, but that would end up in a fight regardless.
Yeah. And yeah, and shit like that. So, but we'd come to a couple of ground rules. So we'd come to the we'd come to that we would unite and thrash anyone that, because that would cheapen, what we had all collectively risked, because the admins were being fucking tyrants about it.
Yeah.
And then the last thing was that we would make an agreement that we would not step in, because we were again some of the strongest on the site.
Yeah.
We would not step in and fuck each other over with our in, because again, we were good guys, bad guys, and Indians. Unless it ran counter to one of our own personal.
Yeah.
So Ark is trying to do his whole termination of the student body. Matthew and Leon aren't going to jump in unless they try to fucking kill me or my direct friend group.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't fucking that's not my business.
You know,
All right,
just with all the stories I've heard about Ark, I'm still shocked that Marcus actually survived his encounter with him.
Ark's actually a really cool guy.
Like, and the worst part is Marcus did him. Like, I know I should say I gets back, but Marcus legitimately antagonized him that threat. and basically acted like, well, who the fuck are you, old man? I don't know who you are, and literally got away with just a poke in the chest.
Oh, I probably love it. So Ark out of character, super nice dude, super nice
Yeah,
dude.
yeah, yeah.
And honestly, like in character, the threat of Ark was always really over.
Yeah.
Because Ark was never actually do anything to permanently damage you because out of character, Ark knows that that's a fucking bullshit thing to like ruin a character.
Yeah, and
Ark will scar you, and Ark will break your bones. Ark will never snap your spinal cord.
yeah, he also like specifically would be like, okay, this is the kind of damage that I'm looking at doing. It's basically a knockout blow, so on and so forth. And he would let people like attempt to do permanent damage to his character, except he would be like, okay, well, I'm going to explain all that away.
Yeah. So Ark had a lot of rules that if once you kind of like understand, you're like, okay, it's going to be epic if you can keep up with it. Cool. But he's got a lot of limits that he won't do. He won't pull a Mayoko and like cut off all your hair and then burn your scalp so your hair will never come back pretty.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I heard. Oh fuck, I heard about it. Also, what he ended up doing,
testicle.
or what he ended up doing a Wyatt, where he tried to put him through.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like that whole thread was hard to read.
Wyatt's too cool to break. Wyatt's fucking.
Oh yeah.
Oh hell yeah. Why he had Alucard as his. Goodbye.
Right. Only time he ever took off that hat was when he went to Jim's. So Wyatt was the second, like one of the second in commands for like the big bad guy group in the first like War of 552. Timothy, who later became known as Endrin, was a pacifist, a stat whore. And since there was no chi in 552, charisma was literally a useless.
Yeah.
It was literally my character's smooth. And I was like, I'm putting everything in charisma. I'm playing pacifist. He got Wyatt over on his side, basically. They agreed, like, find a better way because these wars are just tearing us apart and making.
Yep.
So he joined Equilibrium and founding member, and they made like a group of people dedicated to peace. Endrin was a pacifist, the rest weren't, and basically they pledged to act as a third party to keep any one gang from like getting too powerful where this would happen again. So they would fight on different sides depending on what's going on to.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That was actually the one thing you guys did like a super good job. At least to me, back in 552, you guys did a really good job of like making your characters seem like, you know what I mean? Like you guys had this like whole mythic thing going around your characters that I was like, okay, cool. So this site has like a myth arc that I know nothing about, but I'm finding out like as someone who loves story, that shit tickled me so fucking pink.
Honestly, the only reason they come off as like mythic now is because with all of the transfers and reboots and characters moving between sites, those character stories then progressed to multiple sites, which meant new people. Those stories carried on and they got changed in the reboot until they became much larger than life.
Well, I mean, that's how myths are created. If you think about it.
I mean, exactly. But I mean, like, it's just the unique scenario of all of these sites. Like, well, no, we're transfer friendly. You can bring this over. You can bring your history over. We're just in a different city. So we all kind of unspokenly collectively agreed to a shared unit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there was also like, I kind of understand what Raj is saying too, because like when I first joined 552, I was still kind of like in that whole. I just watched Shin. These main characters are really fucking cool. There's no actual balance of power because nobody's want to fight against each other except for like the antagonists and protagonists. And then I get on to 552, and there's like everyone's talking about Faust or Ark or Vetus or Miyoko, or Oroth and Joe, and I was like, oh man, these are the big names. These are the legends. They're mythical people. And then I ended up in threads with all of them. I was like, oh, this is like fucking amazing. I'm a part of the community, and I wasn't yet.
Yeah.
But like their legend was like what drove me to want to be the guy.
And the cool thing is that I feel like each of us here in this chat, we all got to achieve that in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Fun fact: I did not watch Shin the Five in RP for about 4 years.
You know
Yeah,
what?
that's
That's
true.
actually not. You're not alone in that. I've actually talked to a lot of people back in the day, and found out that most of them actually found the site first and then went and watched.
Mhm.
Yep. Exactly.
And I think I blame a lot of people going like, "Hey, I'm part of this group. Come join." 'Cause, like everyone kept pulling their mutuals from all these other role playing groups, and they're like, "No, come and try this thing. Oh, by the way, if you get the chance, watch the show while you're at it."
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. No, that's exactly it. And it was really unique, especially at the time, because a lot of RPG. And I will say to this day, they're typically heavily dominated by women and female characters and romantic and social subplots. Where this was like, which I was astounded when I eventually left Shin to go look at cases and found that
Yeah.
because Shin super violent and it was a bunch of guys and there was like always a girl, quote unquote.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So my surprise when I go to like another site that's like based off of like reincarnations of gods and things, and they're like, there's rules, actual rules in place, site rules, and how many female characters you can play without having a male character. People to social with. So I come in as a guy, play a guy, and my
See,
God, I have never had so many women line up the fucking thread with my character.
Right?
Yeah, see, that makes me like that kind of boggles my mind because I came from a place where like the role playing boards I did before Shin was like Gundam, Mega Man, and a few others like of that vein. Like they're either based on a video game or based on a pre-existing popular story, like franchise kind of idea. And 90% of those were like,
Yeah, no, I found this site and it incarnated Greek myths, logical characters,
yeah,
and like an academy like setting. I remember my character was the reincarnation of the primordial chaos. So
because of course,
his his ability though was basically summoning little elemental spirits because chaos was just the blackness that everything else came from. So he had like a creation thing to make like little fire spirits. It wasn't anything super OP. That was really into the mechanics of it.
yeah.
Um, but he also was a little bit of a fighter, so it was really funny when like the reincarnation of Hercules is like, well, I go up to him and I punch him, and I'm like, 5 years of fight RP experience, and I'm like, he pivots this way, ducks under the punch, grabbing this to like move it along while overextending the elbow before like doing this, and then the guy's like, holy fuck.
Yup.
Yeah.
Well,
And
like you can do that,
the girl's like, oh my god, and I was like, talk shit, get hit, brah.
Yeah,
right?
like imagine that for like literally, I had some fights in. I fly towards you and hit you with my sword, and I'm all like, cool. I block with my shield. By the way, I have a grapple claw. I shoot it at a nearby asteroid, fucking fling it
Mhm.
over my head, beat you with it. And he's like, whoa, 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 hold up,
Yeah,
time
man.
out, time out. And I'm like, nah, bud.
Yeah, we come from fight RP, man. You're gonna get fucked.
Mhm.
Marcus, did I ever tell you about the time I was on a Gundam site?
No, you didn't. Hell.
The site did not last long. We literally had like 8 minutes, but I joined with some friends, so we were like a small mercenary.
Yeah.
So we had been hired to kill another one of like another small group of characters. So we had all designed our Gundams to work in tandem with each other.
Yes.
My Gundam had almost no armor and basically weapons that were just good enough to like keep your attention and be annoying, right?
So you were the Mook pilot.
I was the fast one. So
Yeah.
fast, instead of like rockets, it had this giant sound system.
God.
What he would do is he would be playing like really loud, like fucking dubstep and blaring over these speakers. It's like darting around super fast, shooting, gun and running, right?
Yeah.
The other guy, he was really tame. He was built with like things to like try to restrain you and blind you. So he had like a bunch of flares and shit like that to basically reduce mobility, take hits, and try to like grapple or slow you down with like nets and harpoons. So they would fight this two-person team, and neither one of us really had a win condition. Except we had a third member of the team who was a sniper build. So the gun, the fucking music would drown out the sniper shots from the Gundam from miles away, and then the fucking harpooning to like keep you in place, and like fucking flares to like keep your visuals and your sensors like fucking just like haywire, like every like things are just getting triggered everywhere.
Yeah.
Would through the position of their third member, which was their actual.
Ah, damn! I would have loved to have that. Most games I like, the game I played a lot of the quests, quote unquote, we were doing were basically my teammates racing against the clock to see who can rack up the most kills. Like no real coordination whatsoever.
Oh, that's the same. Like
Yeah.
we all knew each other, so we came into the fight with this concept and made the
Yeah.
idea. Like,
Okay.
let's make like the memest fucking team we can.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this was back in the day before we started using memeing. So we're just like,
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
this fucking group we can. And we're like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking do dubstep, and I'm gonna fucking do this. I'm a snipe.
Yeah.
No
Yeah,
one knew
see,
how to fucking handle that shit.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't doubt that for. Like I ended up running the you're a squad thrown together by like I literally actually my character started off as like a member of an actual nation's army because we were doing like an AU Gundam thing, not a specific timeline.
Okay.
And my character literally went from being like a soldier in like an elite soldier, a soldier less part of a like the Middle East. We were basically the Middle East faction. There was like the Middle East faction, there was the European faction, and the North American faction. And because of drama behind the scenes, our faction got like wiped out because the leader of it basically got into a bitch fit with the admin. Blah 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 blah. Obvious behind the scenes stuff. The guy finally is like, "Oh, I don't want to do this anymore." Bugs off, leaving me and a friend of mine basically in charge of things. So we kind of looked at each other and went, "Screw it, we're dissolving this whole." And he ended up getting like a story going for him of him moving from army to army, ending up joining up with this other group. Like it's just like that's the one thing that I hated. How you know forum RPs were cool and all, but the problem was so many of the people in charge were each of them like of the kind of personality where they constantly clash. And
Yeah.
and rarely did I ever manage to stick to one that was like I think 552 was the longest I've been, and even that broke down and reformed. It broke down like numerous times.
Yeah.
359.
Well, like, so here's some background information you might not know actually.
Yeah.
Quite a lot. The higher or the better fighters would create these raiding parties, and they'd go and make characters on some random site and be like, okay, we're just here to kill everybody. And I knew I had made it as a top fighter on 552 when I got invited to one of these raiding parties for the first time.
Yeah.
It was a Naruto board, and we were making the Cloud 9.
Oh no.
And
Oh no.
by the
There were
time
a couple of times that we did do that shit.
by the time we finished making our characters and having our first threads and getting strong, the site died, and we were like, well, that wasn't fun. So we started scouring pro boards for another Naruto board that we could just copy paste our fucking characters over and finish our job.
There's like there were a million of them too.
Oh yeah. But that was how I knew. I was like, oh, I've made it as a top fighter on 552. I'm getting invited to these raids. They trust me.
One of the in
Nice.
crowd now.
Yeah.
Oh shit! It's Rye. Wild Rye is
Hey,
here.
I'm back.
Throw a Pokeball at
Yeah, sorry, phone call lasted longer, but I am back now.
All right.
you.
Welcome back. I guess that means we can probably stop the pre.
Yeah, we can start the actual interview. All right. So this is Out of In Character episode 4. We are here with Raj, also known as Marcus Prasad on 259 and 552. I am joined with co-hosts Rye, also known as Figs, and once again the Rylander is back. Please check out his Twitch.
I like to think at this point I'm a fan favorite, like the free.
I know, right? Pretty much.
Well, from what I understand from statistics we were looking at last night, the show has more views with you in it. So
That's true.
Congratulations, you're the catalyst.
that, or it could just be that the first episode had Shugo. So
I like to believe it's because I have a beard.
Wait,
Damn.
so I have a beer too. Does that mean we're gonna get like views?
I hope
I
so.
hope so. I mean, I would say we'd be beer. I would say we're beard bros, except that's already copywritten being used by the completionist and Alex Passiani. So.
Yeah, no, they can.
have
Uh,
to.
We are okay. Cool. If that's the case, then we are facial hair siblings.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah, no, like a lot of my characters now have beards because like no, I'm not having a beard.
No, seriously, why be babyface? Have my
Because I can't grow it.
You should check out Matthew's current playbys. But because Matthew's like in his 40s now, close.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I know for a fact that if I know exactly who I would use. Fucking Mickey Rourke. Oh yeah.
So I am going to. So just keep in mind, remember on 552, you have your profile picture and then your side post picture. Then you also have the one if you.
Oh okay.
There's 3 different pictures.
One is
Oh, that's just because if you. But if you're logged in, you'll be. Because you can't look at people's profiles and things if you're not. If
oh
you're not
that's
logged in.
right. Oh god, let's see if I remember my password.
Oh man,
It's the same for all your pro boards because they're all linked.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's true actually. Okay. Oh right, this was sorry.
The
There we
struggle
go.
begins.
Select an account to sign in as.
Did you have any other characters besides Marcus?
And actually no, honestly. I think Marcus was pretty much the only like I think I used for other boards I used like a different character, but for 259 and 552 primarily.
Because
I
I
mean,
did.
I maintain that Marcus is the character that mattered because it's the one that you did everything with.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, God damn it, he was way and like the hilarious part is I initially built him to be literally the secondary character funny guy that would just show up. Don't even know how he got there. He cracks like a couple wise ass jokes, fights a dude, and then just disappears.
So you want to be on the skin that is skin.
Yeah. Oh really now, huh?
Yeah,
right?
yeah. The white skin is the one that's going to show all of the pictures.
Okay, I might have to go in. Let's see if
Generally,
it'll-
I RP on the other skin because I hate the skin, but the white skin's the one that shows all.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so man. If I could get what you're saying out of context, I'd have.
Right? Too bad there's too much contact.
You're just. Oh god, yeah, you would fucking use, wouldn't you?
But it's like
Jesus.
older fucking McCree. But the best one, you just need to look at any Matthew character post that side picture. That's the one that
See
is
if I
going to make
can-
you go sploosh.
Yup.
Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can find a. Where's the thing that tells me where your threads are?
Like, here, I'm just gonna post fucking. So you can just go in there.
Here you go,
click
activate.
that, see the sidebar thing. Scroll down until you see characters.
Oh yeah. Also,
Consequences, yeah.
Raj, you missed
Okay,
like
forget that one. I'm picking a different thread so that you can actually find him.
No worries.
you missed like 4 years of straight RP. By the way.
Oh, I bet I did.
There you go. Here, this one is literally a one shot for Matt. Just see his sidebar.
Okay. Oh my god. Yeah.
Listen, can you name a better character who is buff, has a beard, smokes a cigar, and is also missing the same arm that Matthew was missing?
Good point. No, that's a good.
So,
I mean, to be fair, I use Jason Momoa. Really, I can't fucking say.
I mean, that's kind of how I picture you in real life, even though I know that's not what you look like. That's still what I do.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's fair.
I am flattered. I am absolutely flattered. I'm not gonna lie. That man is gold.
There are way worse things that someone could think of you.
Oh my god! I had a family dinner, and one of my cousins brought a friend of theirs. They looked me right in the eye and said, "Dude, you're like an Indian Jonah Hill."
Damn.
And I'm like, I need to like go outside. I'm a the shit out of you, bud. Like,
I had to put my soda down for that. I was about to have a drink of soda, and he said that, and I was like, that's that
Yeah.
burned too harsh.
yeah, I'm literally like, and no, and the worst part is he said it as like no, he totally thought he was paying me like the biggest. Like, you're so funny and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, but Jonah Hill though, man.
Right.
Mitch Hedberg, maybe on a fucking hill. I mean, nothing against the guy.
Yeah,
It's
man.
like saying, like, dude, you're like Gabriel Iglesias. Like, yeah, he's hilarious. Not who I want to be.
Right.
I mean, comedy wise, I would absolutely compare to him. Man is like a genius.
The man is
But-
hilarious, but like, I feel like you're like an Indian Gabriel Iglesias. Like, dude,
Ow.
I'm like I like 4 of me. Like, well, I mean, to be fair, he has long. So 2 or 3 of me could fit into one of him. So
he's
Yeah.
no longer damn.
yeah, no, he's the kind of guy. Gabriel Iglesias, is the kind of guy I would love to spend a day with.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It would
Sure.
be like the best day ever. Have
I'm
so
just
much
saying,
food.
no, that guy knows the best places.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I
we were
wouldn't
going.
say no
I
either.
know.
I'd just be like,
yeah,
like, oh, you want to go to that place? Yes.
yeah. He's like,
Are you
oh, I know.
full?
Like,
Yes,
even if
that's
it's
not
like
the
a
question.
type of food I don't normally like, I'd be like, you know, what, I'm going to trust your judgment on this. Let's try it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I think from 552 to 259, if I could have gone back and like changed the way I did things, I probably would. That's why I'm kind of like, if I were to like come back, I would play him again because I kind of feel like his story's done. You know what I mean, like he kind of the biggest one was got a lot of his closure, especially with Ryan or not Ryan, especially with Matthew. Like that thread that you and I had, where he got that bit of closure, that actually like removed so much of the angst that he had that I realized he had when I started role playing him again.
I mean, as
Uh,
someone, so I still play Matthew a bit, but at this kind of, I would
Yeah,
totally
yeah.
encourage you to come back, make a new person. I
would.
made a new main Blake, and oh my god, it was so refreshing. He's had so many awesome moments.
Oh my god, and the lore that you would have to get into, there would be so many character options.
Marcus,
Yeah.
hit me up after the interview if you're interested. I will hook you up. We are like in another apocalypse thing. Bunch of gods are dying. Like, I will set you up and let's like get you a character, start GMing you some shit, and like let's put you to the ringer. Do it.
Oh yeah.
Fuck, I'm tempted because I'm not gonna lie. Like after I got out of 259, for like the longest stretch, I stopped. There started getting more into tabletop stuff.
Oh yeah.
I tried to get back into forum RPing. Like I joined a couple Facebook groups that were doing like single thread kind of stuff. I did a Witcher one for a little bit. That kind of I did like one thread and then stopped. Beyond that, like I don't. I'm worried that I might have lost the touch. a bit,
Bro,
but I
ain't
don't know, we'll see.
nobody do it like 259 do it.
That's true.
Trust-
That's true. That's very.
Trust me, man. Make a character, make him from God territory. We'll have him be a survivor, like a random person, and let's make an ascension.
Oh yeah.
Does sound
And
nice, actually.
Since Leon's like divvied up the things, I'll tell you this about God territory. If you decide to try for a God spot and you fail, fail forever. There are fucking stakes now. There's none of this like retrying or anything. Oh, you
Yeah.
say fuck being a god, be a hero, be a monster.
Oh yeah.
You know, and one of the
Interesting.
threads that Leon's in right now, you know, Perseus is there, Harpy's there, Freya's there, Gilgamesh is found. Yeah, like there's all of these factions. One of the player characters, their dad is Mimir.
Huh.
Yeah, one and oh god, it's gonna be weird for you to hear this. One Leon is dead and the other Leon is alive but in the underworld,
Oh, so he's basically pulling a Kratos.
technically.
Kinda.
But he's
Yeah,
also he
like-
can't leave, he's stuck there and he's immortal.
Ah, okay. I get you. Okay.
But we'll touch
I'm gonna
base
have to-
after.
There's a lot
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to read up on. I have.
Years and anyway. So
Yeah.
let's go ahead and jump right into it since we're so far into it already.
Right.
My first question, we'll go through first questions. And you know what? Actually, why don't you walk us through who Marcus Prasad is?
Okay. Well, like I said, Marcus was basically my attempt at making. Actually, I don't think Marcus was basically based a lot on myself when I was back in like after high school. Um, I ended up watching Shin first, caught it on Newgrounds before I jumped onto their main website, and I was like, okay, what's this? This is a, oh shoot, this place has a forum RP. Cool, let's get in it. And I couldn't think of a character, and I always was kind of like, oh, what if I was in jail? Oh, how would I react to this? I'm like, oh, this is an awesome opportunity. I'm just gonna make me, but like a super ideal. Like I mean, like because I am like nowhere near athletic level or anything, basically.
So you were out of
Gave him
high school.
almost. What?
You were out of high school, or were you
I
in
think
high
I was
school?
out of high school. I think I was probably like just finishing high, like either I was just finishing high school or it was. I think I joined like 2004, 2003.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was either still a year away from high school or just finished. And I basically like I gave him my last name. I ended up giving him like a lot of his backstory is actually like really rough based on my like my life, like you know half Indian, mom's white, dad's brown,
Yeah.
two brothers. It's just instead of like because I'm the oldest, so Marcus I had to make Marcus the youngest. Um, you know, I wore a trench coat in high school. Marcus wore a trench coat. He had the messy hair. I had the messy hair, mustache. Like a lot of his art. Like I think I got Fontes actually got fan art of him. It's he kind of looks roughly like how I did. Like okay, idealized how I did like back in high school.
Yeah.
So when I designed him to be like I think I said before. I designed him to be like like not the character no one takes seriously. Like he wasn't a world like shaker. He never would have like I never intended him to be the kind of character actually get into a lot of the storylines. Like he's the guy that's always on the outside, kind of looking in and everybody.
Yeah.
Because his whole thing was like never take anything seriously, except for like fights. Fights he always took like well not seriously, but like he always like gave 100% on everything. He was the kind of guy that had like no filter whatsoever. Everything was 100%. Everything was funny to him. If he cried like his heart, like you know, hard. I actually remember he had a fight with Mark that he watched over, and like if I know for a fact that if I went back and read that thread, I'd be cringing into my seat so hard I'd create a black hole. But I legitimately had him. Oh yeah. I legitimately had him at one point watching Leon fight Ark, and I wrote in that he was visibly weeping at how like passionate they were fighting each other, and I'm just like, yeah, no, that's pretty much Marcus Leonard. Because everything he does, 100% go, like right off the cuff.
I mean that's fair though. I did put everything into every fight with Ark
Yeah.
because he was goals for me. He was the one I wanted to beat.
Yeah.
And Jealous had never had that.
Because I mean, I had Mr. Malice. Literally, first fucking thread I ever did. First fucking thread I ever did, and I fight a teacher. It was literally a dude started a thread. I just got Marcus approved. Starts a thread. I'm just trawling through, and he's talking about how yeah I skipped school. Oh, I'm gonna hang out and whatever. And I get the idea of I'm gonna have Marcus have sent out to go after this guy and drag him back. This is a cool excuse for me to beat the shit out of him. Let's see how it goes. And so they start like trying to quit back and forth with each other until freaking Mr. Malice shows up out of nowhere. What are you here? And I'm kind of like I'm like, oh shit. Oh, what did I just do? What did I just watch? Like, I didn't expect to have Marcus fight someone at teacher level right off the bat at all. So I was kind of visible myself a little.
That was my teacher account.
Yep. And what followed was like a situation where Buddy like just gets like one shotted, and Marcus does the whole like fight until he gets his ass like horribly kicked, and then gets up and fights some more, necessitating him getting like I think I counted out that it's like both his legs got broken and his like entire ribs got shattered.
Yeah.
And of course, you had to do the cool thing of, this was a fight. Perhaps you will fight me again. And I'm like, okay, there we go. Established. That is my rival. That milestone and my stepping stone right there.
He's still alive, so.
Yeah. No, that would. I don't even know if Mark fight him now. It's been so long. He's kind of like, oh, you're in a wheelchair. Oh, like, damn.
Fair enough.
Malice is not in a wheelchair.
Unless
Right?
he wants to pull. I was gonna say unless he wants to pull a, like, oh, I'm in a wheelchair, but I'm secretly not.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and go into first questions then. I guess you kind of answered my usual first question, but what is your first memory after joining the community, pretty much?
Oh, okay. So yeah, so I basically just answered that.
Yeah.
I can go more into it though. If you want like uh, if you want me to kind of like talk about like kind of what happened after.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So after that, I kind of hit off the idea of, well, okay, Marcus got one really fucking high end fight under his. How do I work this? Well, what if that? What if people like started, hearing about like, oh, some kid stood up to a teacher. Oh, let's see how that, Oh, let's see what this kid. So that's when I started this whole thing of Marcus got put under a crosshair, and now everyone's going after him. Like every day, he's having a fight.
Yeah.
That was also the point where I started actively picking out people I wanted to go fight. Like I had this thing. I didn't want to just fight. There were certain people on the site you didn't want to fight because the fight wouldn't be fun. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there were a
Oh.
lot of people who were like very rules lawyer, very you can't do that.
Oh, I
you
know.
Yeah, so I kind of started looking, had fun with it, started going after them. That's actually how I ended up meeting Autumn. Ended up seeing one of her threads and was like, "Oh shit, chick's like really cocky. Let's see how cocky she is against Marcus, who is also a very cocky." And what ended up occurring was a like arrogance off the likes of which I never got to see again. They both tried to out brash cocky, which culminated in Marcus twisting his ankle and her just going, "Okay, well, I guess I win then," and him being like, whatever. Like and that ended up becoming an argument, like a playful argument between us for like kind of like, "Oh, you didn't actually win." "Oh, yeah, I did."
W.
The what?
W's the W.
Oh yeah, pretty much.
It's true.
Yeah, it's pretty. After that, it was actually funny when you were talking about. It was actually funny that you were talking about like having like legends and stuff. I remember one of the things I wanted to do was actually find some of the people who've been on the site for a while. Try to go with you, or I meant to and never got around to it. One of those two. There were a couple of people I can't remember their names. I went after. Who was the one player that had Tifa as their player?
Linda
Linda.
Osaka.
Yeah, I tried to go after her, but that never worked. Tried to go after that one chick who Irish redhead.
Athalia. Or no,
I felt like
Irish
yeah. Tried to go after
redhead.
her. That one kind of painfully fizzled
Kind of
out.
like dirty-ish blonde.
Yeah,
Really, I always kind of pegged her as red. I think it was the Irish thing.
probably the
I
Irish thing.
But she definitely had the Irish accent of any Shin.
Yes, very
Oh,
much.
yeah. Hilarious because my backstory, Marcus's mom was supposed to. That's what that was. Try to go after them. Try to go after Gist, which a fight, but not really a fight. Like that one was. Because I kept having because it was actually kind of funny. We ended up there was a thread that went on out of character that was about how the stats worked, and just ended up bringing up that like you said, charisma was a useless stat before she went into.
So I need to interrupt real quick. Was his name pronounced Gist? Have I been mispronouncing it all of these years?
I don't know.
Spell
I
it.
think he was doing a joke. It was Gist. I don't know if he was doing a play on
Guy.
the
Oh.
taste of it.
That Geist. It's a type of ghost thing.
That's what I thought it was. It was Geist.
Yeah.
Oh, he was trying to be. Oh, for fuck's sake!
Yeah. No, we went over this.
It was just for the longest
No, we went over this in the previous episodes about how everyone
Every
pronounces everything slightly different.
Oh yeah,
Like, okay, Marcus, how do you say Leon's last name?
Sudeki.
Ooh, you got it. Like you could, for the longest time, Corey, for the longest time, David Blaze would say Leon's last name Sudakai, and I'm like that. There's no AI at the end of the name, but okay.
And who can
Yeah,
forget the classic Sadeki?
Sadeki, yeah.
Oh god. Well, at least no one ever called you Sudeki.
That we know of. There's still a lot of people to interview.
Right.
But anyway, so you were fighting Gist, Geist, other
Yeah, I
Ryan.
was fighting. I fought guys
Ryan
that was
Five.
yeah, because we were joking about how joking about how it's like, oh, my charisma stats like in. Why isn't anyone like who's like charisma 20 and below just shits themselves in front of him?
Oh
So
yeah.
I ended up as a joke, played it up that Marcus was fighting him and was absolutely like sweating balls about the thing the whole. Like just like that's why it was kind of weird because like normally I'd have Marcus be like fucking let's go, but I wanted to like okay let's see what happens if Marcus actually was like oh fuck I'm actually fighting the
Oh god, was he school captain at one point?
school captain for. I
It's all right.
believe his character even was. I'm pretty darn sure that his character even dressed.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually funny that I talked about how Marcus was a side character kind of guy when all of a sudden I found myself thrusted in the middle of a bloody Civil War arc. Yeah, thanks, Ryan.
I'm not apologizing.
You don't need to. That was actually a lot of fun. That was like it was like how you were saying how the minute I was getting invited to raids was the moment I knew like I made it. For me, it was the minute other people just started talking about Marcus actions. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Why are you guys bringing him up? Why is he being brought up? Oh shit, everyone's noticing.
Yeah.
Civil War arc was good. That's still one of my favorite speeches.
Oh yeah, the Green Rebellion speech. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, the one thing I will apologize for is I'm sorry I unleashed.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. For all that he created at the time, I can easily look back and be like, he was.
Oh
know
no,
what I mean?
not
Like-
a wonderful person. Still friends with him. I meant the character though. Oh god.
Oh yeah, no, the character was like that dude was a bag of trauma and angst. I also remember that him and him and Marcus were rivals.
You see, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's how Matthew became friends with a lot of people. They're like wiener.
Fuck! Don't call it that. Don't call it that.
I stole that from Scrubs. Wiener cousins, unbreakable bond.
Yeah.
And then you link
Oh,
pieces
jeez, that is
together.
from Scrubs.
Yeah, it is.
I love that show, but I love that show in small amounts. Like I always found it hard to like actually sit and watch an episode, but I would always like walk in and catch like
Okay, but guy love.
guy love between guys still goddamn song ever.
It's
Especially
amazing.
the scene where where JD does the layup, screws it up, lays down. He's like, "Why are you laying beside me?" Like, well, because you know you threw the jump shot, but I just want to make everyone think that we're just chilling out. And I'm like, "That's a friend."
Oh yeah.
That is. They are the best example of up romance.
Absolutely,
Heterosexual life partner best friend.
Oh yeah.
absolutely.
So Rye, do you have a question?
Actually, I think he answered my first question. I was going to ask what he considered his main rival, but I guess we just got that with his Wiener Bro.
Yeah,
I got you covered. All right.
I mean, to be fair, Marcus had a few. Like, Falner was definitely a rival. Tsubame actually kind of like it was definitely one sided, but I think Tsubame is rival as well because they had this like really fuck awesome fight on bridge of in Central Park that I was like, oh, I'd love to have like another like another chance to fight her again.
Oh, speaking of Tsubame, since I am still friends with Tsubame and talk to her regularly. Her surgery to have her voice fixed was successful. She can speak now.
Hey, that's good.
Because the nature of the thing. Is this in character or out of character?
Out of
Out of
character.
character.
Oh, okay, cool. Good for her.
Yeah.
So what happened? Like
She was
or, like yep.
she had her voice box crushed when she was little, so
Oh,
she was
shit,
a
I
mute.
never knew. Oh, good lord. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I never knew. Oh, so no, good to hear that she's doing all right. Yeah, no, her character was definitely one I considered rival to Marcus, as was Leon Deaf. Malice was always that. Malice was always that like final boss that he got a chance to go after again, kind
Yeah.
of thing. Um, Matthew was a source of angst that I'm super happy he got closure.
I'm glad
Um,
too.
Yeah. I would say Jack too, in a sense, because there was a point where Jack and Marcus were rivals for to gain like kudos points with Stein during the thing. Because Jack ended up pushing in to try to be Stein's like second in command, but it was like Marcus for the longest time. So Jack and I ended up having a bit of rivalry back for the no, I'm the cool henchman, basically. I'm the coolest. You know what I mean? Like a little bit of that going on.
Like Master like Apprentice, because Leon was Miyoko's henchman for a little while.
Yeah. God,
So-
has any of you guys heard from Mike? Because like I lost track of him after.
So he went a little off the deep end for a little while. But I helped him get a little back on track with like physical training and focusing on other things. He ended up joining the Aussie military. So
Which military?
Australia.
Oh shit! Seriously?
yeah,
I remember he lived in Maple Ridge for a long time. That's like literally like a 2-hour drive from my place.
Yeah.
Or my old place.
Yep.
He always wanted me to come over, but I was like, I literally have no way to. I do not have a license. Yeah. Well, good. Glad to hear. Because I know I remember he was like.
Yeah.
A lot of our conversations. Cause I basically had all you guys. I remember a lot of our. Oh yeah, there's a poll. There's an old kids out there.
Good. I've never seen a task. I-
Right.
I used to.
But no, not outside of Leon. I'd never heard of it before.
I used to freak out because I'd wake up one morning after getting an actual full night's sleep, and I'd go over to my computer, and there'd be like 26 messages from different conversations, and I'd be like, "Oh shit!" And it was just nothing, and I was like, "Oh, okay, everything's fine."
The picking out the right song lyric, putting your subject.
See, I remember when me and the other Ryans, we all changed our font to this one, and we all changed our name to Ryan and all of our colors.
Yep.
We were in a big chat. So there were like 3 of us, and we're all just talking with each other.
Oh my god!
We're so nettled.
It was rather nettling.
And since we're talking about real life people, I guess on Failnor is he finished his master's degree in psychology.
Oh shit!
I shouldn't even be surprised it's science. Well, good for him. Good for him.
Smart boy, British.
Yeah. I was always worried because of the fact that like really get on my nerves back in the old. I was for the longest time kind of worried that him and I like kind of cut off contact in a bit sour. So like Fallon, if you're listening, hope you keep doing cool shit.
I will let him know. Like I said, we're still friends.
Okay, good.
So yeah, we still. Yeah. That's for my question. You actually haven't answered my first question yet.
Oh.
So of all of your moments with Marcus across both sites,
yeah,
which moment would you say is the highlight, the one that you treasure the most? Back, like, I am so glad that this happened.
That's a bit of a okay. That actually might take me a minute. There were a lot. Yeah. Like it's also the nature of like of the way I rank stuff. I rarely have a favorite thing. It's just I love all of it. But no,
If you can't come up with a favorite, I would say like what's the one that like comes to mind as like the most definitive or like just like the one that
well, yeah, yeah.
I know my choice for that one for Marcus.
What would your choice be? Like, just out of curiosity, what would you?
we all know your choices for that one, Leon.
Yeah, ching 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 ching.
Which one?
That saw me on the bike. Tricycle.
Okay.
Damn, man, he doesn't remember your thread. Jesus.
Oh, son of a gun!
So
no,
sad.
okay, yeah, that was the one where they had to steal, trying to steal truck, and you thought he was gonna fight through it. I ended up bullshitting my way. That was
Yeah.
amazing. Again, the idea of Marcus walking in and having to put on like the stereotypical boss, like New Yorker, fucking Hell's Kitchen. I was just like, I had to look up how that would be just to get at that. I'm like, no, Marcus would know. Fun of it all. And then yeah, having to run from a psycho on a tricycle. God damn it!
80 miles per
It
hour
was
on the
Mad
highway.
Max. It was like Mad Max mixed, which in itself is like, yeah, no, okay. If I actually had to show Marcus is like defining, like the one that I always like stuck out to, I think would have to actually be the quest thread. This was one of the ones that actually kind of started like tipping me off to the fact that a lot of people were paying attention to him. Before even I think, actually no, I think this actually happened after the Green Rebellion, like him getting wrapped up in it. But it was a thread where it was a quest thread where there was a what was it? Oh, I'm trying to remember now. There was a student thing going on in the gym. What do they call? Oh God, I can't even remember what they're called now. It's been so long since I've been in school. No, not a mixer. It was like an audience. Oh, no, it's like a thing where the teachers
Pep
go
rally?
in and gives what? Not a pep rally,
Oh.
but it was a thing where people had to go in and like do a thing. Basically, it was like a principal had to go up and do an announcement in front of the whole student body, kind of
An assembly.
an assembly. God damn it. Okay, yes, it was an assembly. Oh man, I'm actually kind of like ashamed that I forgot what an assembly was.
All good.
Long time since we've been in high school.
It really has. I'm like 34. But yeah, there was an assembly going on. Happening it, most of the teachers disappear and start pumping gas and try to gas the kids out.
Yep.
And what was it? Wyatt was there, Jack was there, I was there, and a couple others. We ended up finding a. I kind of feel like there's one of those threads that was supposed to go somewhere but ended up not, because we ended up finding like an underground tunnel system under the school that was like brick hallway. And we got into this area where we ended up fighting. And this is actually this is another reason why I love this. Where Marcus got his mask that he kept on him from that point. This is actually the origin story of Marcus's. Well, he ended up going along with everyone. They're all like, "Oh, how do we get out of here? Oh, what do we do?" Ended up going into this like room, like a set of offices, and there was like a red phone or something, and we ended up getting jumped by a bunch of buff dude masks. All of them had like a kabuki mask of sorts, like a some sort of like Oni mask or anything like that. And Marcus soloed that like each one of them was supposed to be like on par of like fighting two people. Like I think Wyatt and Jack fought one, two of the others fought another. I soloed mine literally just by just grabbing him from behind and choking him completely out, and everyone was just kind of like, "Oh fuck, he done." Oh well, we'll go help someone else then.
Yeah, that was
And-
the 552 finale quest, really.
I believe so. I think it was. It was because that one ended up like, I don't know if that went off somewhere else, but I think that was the last that Marcus was involved in that one.
Last time 552 was really relevant.
Yeah, actually, because I remember after the green and the site went on another recycle, I wiped my hand. I was like, I can't remake Marcus again. But yeah, no. If it comes to like the one that always like kind of floated back into my conscious, that was the thread that I was back because that was the one where everyone just kind of stopped and went, "Holy shit! Actually, this boy, what is up with this boy? I do not understand how."
I mean, he was a beast.
Yeah. I mean, I know for a fact there were probably threads I did where I played the whole no, I've already figured out what you're gonna do, and like way too hard and probably pissed some people off, but at the same time they weren't the best RPers, so fuck them.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. But I still remember one thread. Like, I hope you guys don't mind if I'm like reminiscing,
No, man, go.
but I still remember one thread that actually kind of pissed me. I ended up grabbing Stein for it. I ended up grabbing Mayoko for it and being like, "Hey, I need a ruling." Someone tried to go at Marcus with razor nails long before we even were incorporating chicken. So I'm like, literally, you have nails don't work that way. Oh, you scratch me. It burns a little. And they were trying to play it up like, no, these are razor shards. That was the one thread where I actually was like, look, I don't know, you might be a nice person in real life. All I know is I'm not having fun with this. I have to stop RPing with you right now. I'm done. I'm walking away. I'm sorry. I cannot finish this thread. That was the first thread where I literally had to message someone and be like, I cannot finish this thread with you. It's too bullshit. They didn't appreciate it. They did not appreciate it. They messaged me back, oh, you should have been able to. And I'm like, no, I'm done. I'm done with this.
I'm glad I never got a PM like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had some heated.
You know, thinking back, I've had some heated PMs, but I think that was mostly me.
Yeah.
Shockingly,
I know, right? I'd send a message to somebody who was doing something stupid, and I'd be like, "Hey, man, so you need to focus on this because that's not allowed. Here's the ruling and all this other stuff." And they come back at me, it's like, whatever. And I'd be like, "No, you motherfucker," because I'd get angry at that point because I was the one that was messaged by the admin. It's like, you can't do that. These are the rules. And then they're like, oh, okay, so you singling me out, motherfucker. And then somebody else do it, and I like kindly come at them like, hey, before Bonk comes after you, this is what you need to know.
Kindly come after them.
Yeah, this is what you need to know. And they would be like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like, no, you listen here, you little shit.
Like, it's like, what else you got? A benign blitz.
Right?
Yeah, no, there was, like I said, there was a lot of ego.
Oh yeah,
That's what kept it running.
really
It
it
really
is.
did. It fed on angst and like, kind of attitude.
The
Well,
E,
you need that when you have a P storyline.
yeah,
You really do.
You're really going to rely on the players to make the plot and their thing like that. There's going to be a lot of ego. I will say, I think it's really fascinating now as an adult in my 30s. Like, I would love to go back in time to that and just kind of observe it as like a social, like, you're watching like society kind of like form and all of these philosophical like things kind of come as we like explore them as teenagers and like they into us. So kind of, I don't know, it's kind of like watching societal constructs just being like created and experimented with in a controlled setting.
Yeah, yeah. You know what's actually kind of hilarious too? You know what a lot of those arguments all broke down to when it came to the actual fights?
my E-peen is bigger than yours.
Not even just that. It's bang, bang, bang. I shot you. No, you didn't. I had a super shield
Yeah.
that deflects your bullets. It hits you. Headphone. It hits you instead. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what a lot of them boil down to. And that's why I like role playing with you guys, role playing with a lot of the other people, like the close circle that I had. That was just like good. Everyone's here. Everyone wants to have cool story time.
Yeah.
I still remember one. The what?
I was gonna say, so I gotta wonder now because I myself have like, as long as I've been RPing, it hasn't been long as you guys, but like I've never really run into the issue of people being like, "No, that didn't hit me because." But like, I remember one of the very first PMs I got from like Corey was there was an event. There was a training event. It was one of the first events I ever did as Rye, and I was fighting somebody, and they went to hit him, and I took the hit, and I was like, "Ow!" And responded accordingly. And I got a message from Corey like immediately, like, "I've never seen a noob just take a hit. It's awesome, good job." And I was like, "Why wouldn't I take the hit? I can't do anything."
Well, yeah,
Holy shit! You know what? Hold on. Leon, didn't you send me a message like that too after the Malice fight?
I did.
Yeah, you did. You said, "Oh God, what was it?" You said something like, "Oh shit, it's actually kind of cool to see someone take a more creative approach to the fight," or something. So like something like
Right.
that.
So it, at the time I had the teacher account of Malice, I was
Okay.
well beyond my 100th fight on 552. Um, and I had seen so much of the same repeated over and over again because if anyone deviated, and it goes back to the whole that it was just PvP, there were no events, there was no GM threads to make a story. It was all I have to beat you from both ends because of the ego and the pride and everything. So when I was playing as the teacher and I was trying to create a story uh, without having quests and all that, because Bonk would come over and shut that shit down as fast as possible. Um, and you took a creative approach to like using your environment, trying to get out of it. Uh,
Actually taking the hit, like I
yeah,
feel like by
actually,
the end of it, Marcus was fighting on broken ribs by the end of
yeah, and actually taking the damage and the considerations without me having to put in my posts like, yeah, I hit you hard enough to break, or I was aiming to break your like floating rib or something stupid like that. You
it.
would you would measure like, oh, okay, his strength is like 50 and my con is like 15, so it was a reasonable outcome, and you
I'm gonna
were
go skidding across the ground.
yeah, and you were within your first 100 posts, and so to me you were like one of the new noobs that I would usually back in the day go freshman hunting for. Um, but yeah, it was just really refreshing the way that you were RPing. Like the first time that I fought Fonts with Leon, he had a refreshing fighting style, and I was just like, I love all of this. And I think that kept me going on 552 for a little while with all the promising new people. Uh, but once again, there was like the only growth I was going to have was continuing to just fight for that one experience a day. And
Yeah.
I'm a
So
hardcore fan of Shin, so I had to have superpowers and story, so I moved on.
So the reason why I like Mark was very unusual. I don't know if you guys know this about Matthew, but Matthew likes a grapple.
Yeah.
yeah.
It was very unusual to be able to fight someone that also grapple, and that was.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, the stat imbalances were so fucking stupid that like Matthew pretty much always won those. But the fact that it was like an actual fight, it wasn't. It didn't feel like, okay, you punch me, I take it, I grapple, I win. Like it was like, oh, this boy knows what he's doing. Like, we're getting locked. We're like getting out of shit. We're like both like rolling on the ground, and I was like, this is so refreshing. You're not jumping around doing flips and
Yeah. Fortunately, what helped a lot with that was by the time you and I had a rematch, or like not even a rematch, by the time you and I had that closure thread, I had just started doing actual martial arts. So I was learning like Brazilian Jiu Jitsu and kickboxing and all that. So that's what helped. Because before that, I was like, "What's a cool wrestling? Oh, that'll work. Let's if my tiny like lizard brain could actually describe that properly."
right?
Because I'm not gonna like grappling is awesome, but it's so hard to actually describe, especially to describe with your opponent without metagame or not metagame, but without god modding.
Yeah,
Because you literally have to put them in position and say like the amount of like I would have made a lawyer blush with the amount of double speak I had to do of if this occurs, then like it was like writing computer code. If this occurs, then this occurs. But
Yeah.
if you do this, this occurs, then this occurs, and then maybe this.
I rem-
Hopefully, it ends with this.
Over the years, because I used to have to do that shit too. We all did. Like,
Oh, yeah.
over the years, I've learned it so much simpler. To just think Matthew attempts to do this and just let you fill in the blanks on how he achieves that.
Yeah.
When because ain't nobody got time for all of that nowadays. I've got a job with salary. I'm working like 8 12 hour days. Like, I don't have time for that shit. You don't got time for that shit.
Yeah, one move and a post, move on.
Fucking do this. Boy, no, I was right there with you. It was a lot of like careful, like, so if this happens, this, but if this happens instead, you'll do this. And
Well, see, like,
Still remember how hard you. I was gonna say I still remember how hard you lost it when Marcus grabbed Matthew and dove into the ground.
oh my god, that was so good.
but
So
like,
we were like, what would Marcus do? You know what? He's like, no, fuck it. I don't care if you have ground morph powered. I'm coming after you.
nobody else, nobody else has the balls for that. Leon would not grab Matthew and go underground with him.
no. But as we learn too,
Only Marcus.
Yeah.
That was the one thing. It's like, fuck. If he wanted to beat you, he would literally break. Like he like he would almost literally, if he wanted to beat you hard enough.
oh yeah, and that was something else that we also learned with the Tyler interview from the last episode was even from Shin 1, a completely different Shin board. When it's PvP, when it is that whole I want to win to be that guy, it's going to end up being written the way that we used to write it.
Yeah.
Every situation has to be covered.
Yeah. Because no one wants to just punch. Everyone wants to do the cool anime trade blows thing, but the question is always, well, how are you going to write that between two people?
That is the hard part.
Yep.
The only way I've ever found to do that is if we already have the outside before.
Yeah. I actually ended up. Oh no, you got.
I was able to do it one time with Valo. Where we did the whole anime trading of blows, like fist to fist connections and shit like that. And I went full anime with it. Like it was raining, so I had like the concussive force made bubbles of air pockets where it wouldn't rain.
Oh my god, I'm not gonna lie, I'm such a fucking sucker for that. When they put that in the Godzilla, when Godzilla and Ghidorah clashed and the rain fucking launched off, I was like, more of this.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care about Godzilla.
It was the only time I ever got that full on anime fight that I'd been looking for so long.
Everyone wanted to be too serious. They either wanted to be too serious or too, or too, where it just nothing made sense. Like, okay, look, you've got to find that middle.
Yeah.
I remember there'd be threads about that. Like every month, someone, oh, people are too anime. Oh, they're not anime enough.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is that we all have a different spot on where that line is.
Yeah. Actually, it was funny. The one thing I started running into 259 when I brought Marcus over was, so now everyone's all wanting to make high-state actions. But the problem is now you're running this new thing of, if you miss one of those actions, you're going to get about 10 or 12 angry people from your opponent if you miss so much as one of those actions. You don't have a counter for it. And I've had to explain before. I'm like, look, this action would have canceled literally all this bullshit.
Yep.
So if you allow that to happen, all that bullshit's gone. Don't allow that to happen. That'll, like, you have to let me know whether that plays.
Yeah.
To where it got to the point where we had to almost go back to doing the second by second, blow by blow action. It bogged the fight down.
Yeah.
Good lord.
259, the way that we run it, we paradigm a lot for this.
Yeah.
Short posts, like we're talking like paragraph, one-liners, two-liners, things like that. Combat is happy. It's like a comic book.
You know what? Yeah, and I noticed that too because I watched how you guys did the quest, and then I tried to DM a quest. Fuck, that thing turned into a. I actually am ashamed of that. That was like the worst. Like, and not only was it like the worst bit of storytelling I've ever done, but just the way I handled it. Like, I even like long after I would look back on it and be like, can't believe I did that.
Hey Raj, guess what?
Yeah, what?
If you check the chat, I'm going to show you a short post that would be allowed in the way we do things now.
Is that the Master Assignment of War one, or?
Just in the
Count.
what?
Hovland doesn't count.
What do you mean Tuvlin doesn't count?
Hovland doesn't
Tuflin full counts.
I've legitimately had a post that was 2 words, and it was literally my character saying "suck it." I think he regretted it the next post, but like we've got it down.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I have to say it just because it just popped into my head. You know what's another like super thread that I'm actually really super happy that I got to do? Fucking Marcus versus Spike.
Oh yeah?
That yeah, that no, just the way that one played out because Marcus got to be enigmatic, the one that just shows up out of nowhere and is all like, "Well, who are you?" It's like, "Oh, I am from your past." Blah blah blah. Like, oh, the way it played out, it was literally Spike was doing like a meeting, dragon meeting, and Marcus like in a theater or something, and Marcus got to do the whole like he's up in the rafters. You don't know how he got there. He's just fucking there because he's Marcus. Whatever, don't question it.
As one does.
As one does. That's just pretty much standard operating procedure. No question. Jumps down, starts a fight, ends up pushing Spike to have to fight hard enough to almost kill Marcus off. Marcus realizes this and goes, "Okay, stop. Cool, you pass. Pass what? I don't know. Have a good day. By the way, I'm kind of your uncle, but kind of not. Have a good one." And fucks off. Say hi to Leon for me. Bye.
I was actually on the phone with a friend earlier because I was talking about how we were gonna have this interview with you tonight. Like, oh yeah, no, because one of my favorite, like for Rye, one of my favorite memories I ever had of Rye was when he met Marcus. Because I think it was Leon is like or something. He found out about Marcus and like went and hunted him down. It's like you, and Marcus is like, what? Like, I'm gonna fight you. And he's like, okay, and then we just fought. It was just a slugfest, and then it just kind of turned out. It was like Marcus was like, okay, cool. What's that about? It was like, you knew my uncle. I was like, oh, so you're family. And like literally was like called him family. It's like, and from then on, anytime he ever met Bry again, was like, hey, it's the kid.
Yeah, no, he absolutely. I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of what I do too. I have no friends. I only have family. Like a lot of my closest friends, I literally call them brothers and sisters. Every single one of my friends' kids are being taught to refer to me as uncle. And it's like that. Marcus was exactly the same thing. How close he was with Leon. Basically, anyone part of Leon might as well have been family. Yeah, no, I remember. I remember that one now.
That's not true because Leon and Matthew were brothers. Matthew and Matthew were not.
Hey, look, I'm gonna tell you what I tell a lot of other people. Sometimes family fights. So, believe me, sometimes family fights. Yeah, no, I remember that, and basically just thought, Marcus pretty much did actually thought of Rye as his little nephew. That I recall.
Out of character, I love that thread because for me, I like at this time, like the only people I'd really RP'd with were like the other newbies who were just joining.
Yeah.
And Ryan. Ryan was actually the first like old B character I got into a fight with. Matthew walked into a pizza shop and Ryan just like immediately started talking shit, and Matthew punched him through a wall.
As you do.
Talk shit, you get hit.
As the theme goes.
And then you were the second old B character that I ever interacted with, and like you and Ryan basically like made that board more welcoming for me. Slowly after y'all started playing with like Delilah and some of the others who had been there for a while, like y'all were my intro into it.
Yeah, no, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. I'm glad to know when I. That's always been a big thing. Always making everyone around me feel included.
So, on this kind of a vein, talked about like the legends and like the mythic feel, there's things like that. But I would ask like which one of those would you say influenced you the most, even if you never actually had a chance to meet them. just like hearing these stories or interacting with these people, which one do you think influenced you as a role player, in and out of character the most? Make you like
Uh,
what?
well, I was definitely Leon. Definitely you, because like you were. I'm not gonna lie, you were my first legend character that I met, and that I still remember the thread where Leon literally was like, "I want to train some people. I'm gonna go make a little lemonade stand that says, hey, I'm gonna train some people. See who can." And Mark, sure enough, Mark was one of the first people.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's when Leon's legendary training method
Oh,
popped up.
I knew I was early. I didn't know I was your.
Oh yeah, no. You were like, well, because again, you. Hold on, is this Ryan Tug or is this Leon? Suddenly got your guys' voice in my head.
This is
Notes.
right.
Okay. No, because it was definitely Leon, because Leon was the first person who showed up. I would say, especially roleplay. Like, here's the thing: is I never really found myself like enamored with a lot of other people's style because I wanted one of my own. You know what I mean? Like, I had kind of my set writing style. So, if anyone did influence me style wise, it was probably more something I didn't even know. Like, it was a gradual process.
Hmm.
um, more than anything else. But I definitely knew like the people I kind of like looked up to was you, Autumn, um, definitely. Yeah, no, and I mean you as in both you and like you, Matt, and you, or sorry, you, Ryan, and you, Autumn definitely did because like fuck, she had such chaotic energy with every one of her posts,
Hmm.
and it absolutely hit with mine. So that's like my first time with her was I will never forget. That was a fucking good one. God, who else? God, actually, who else? Now I gotta try to remember names about.
You can try and describe their angsty anime playbys.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, if you can
Um,
describe their playbys, I can tell you who they are, actually.
Now I gotta try. Well, here's the problem: is now I gotta try to remember.
Oh, well.
I know Teal. Teal was someone I wouldn't say I looked up to him only because I kind of felt he was more than like a like because I know he ran he was like helped ran it for a little bit. But he always was very personable. Kind of felt more like a friend than a whatchamacallit. Um, yeah, actually, that's about it. It was you guys. I almost want to say Stein just because I loved how just outright malicious were.
He really was.
Yeah.
Good lord, like I actually had like I tried to fight. Honestly, half expected to get just my shit rocked in, but that thread actually got like cut off. He ended up kind of going into hiding for not hiding, but like he kind of ended up going off the grid for a little bit. I never really got to finish that one. Yeah. Yeah, there was never really a sense of like people I looked up to. Always a sense of people I wanted to like you like I'm not like I know this kind of sounds a bit like I know this is gonna sound a bit like but you a lot of you guys were milestones to me where I was like I need to get to a point where I can stand toe to toe.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
that's fair.
And if we're going on that vein, there were a lot of you guys. Was definitely I wanted to beat Linda. I actually had an idea for a story I wanted to throw by her, but I never got a chance to. Where her and Marcus would fight, and she would literally snap his finger off because he would like to try to goad her into a fight, poke her in the teeth,
Right on.
and she would like. I literally wanted a storyline where she would rip his finger off and keep it, and he would have to beat her to get his finger back.
I mean, canon though. Hold on, canon though. You wouldn't have been poking your tit. You would have been poking the
Yeah.
roll of toilet paper.
I was gonna say, were you around? Vetus one time punched her in the hard. Not the toilet paper that she stuffed her bra with. Out.
Oh my god! I didn't even realize she had that.
Yep, that was canon.
Dayer was definitely someone I wanted to be.
Ooh.
Fucking.
In character though, Zaire was pretty.
Oh no, yeah, like it was a tough fight if you had stat to stat with
Yeah,
with
that
Scotty's
was the one thing I
characters.
noticed with him. He just like that was actually kind of like I had one fight with him, and I was like,
Yeah.
I kind of had one of those moments.
RP'd with him a couple years back. He's still
Yeah, like that's what I mean. There's people who went way too hard in the stats, and well, you can't do that because it's like don't bog it down. Now you're making it into a slog. Now this isn't fun.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
I think I covered a few.
So,
Like I'm not gonna lie, a lot of them I'm marking out of like 5.52 more than 2.59 because 2.59 was kind of my twilight more than
well, I mean, I guess since you've kind of like talked about your check marks and how many do you feel like you got to check off that you feel like, yeah, I've passed
uh,
that. If you never got to fight him, like Linda, like, I'm pretty sure Marcus, that as we know him, could take Linda.
yeah, that's the thing is I actually do kind of feel like I would have if the fight went on from start to finish, I probably would have beaten a lot of them, or at least gotten to the point where I had to make them admit that no, okay, no, I wouldn't have been able to, you know, okay, I actually have to admit kind of thing. Like at the very least, make them admit it than outright beating them. But yeah, like Linda, definitely. I think the last fight you and I did ended, and it literally ended on Marcus getting so riled up that he ripped the doors off of a car and used them as punching gloves like the fucking Hulk.
Well, yeah, I had 3,000 some odd strength at the time, I
I
believe.
know. I didn't realize it till after the fact. You had everything going.
God, I forgot Linda lived in the house with Matthew when she had that fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did actually get my rematch with Tsubame, and that was actually. I think it ended in a draw. Like I think they both kind of agreed, like, okay, no, there has definitely been a lot of growth here. We're cool, kind of thing.
Tsubame was always an interesting character.
I like, yeah.
She was never my cup of tea. Never got into anything. It was always
He actually got to save her life at one point.
oh nice.
Oh yeah, it was apparently her character. Like apparently Tsubame at one point had like a debilitating disease, something like they were doing the whole like cough of death thing, coughing
Yeah.
up blood every like so on. So it was actually in their second fight that it. No, that's right. Actually, how it ended. Her second fight ended with her being like, "Cool, you've actually grown stronger," and Marcus just losing his like, "Oh God, why are you bleeding? I didn't even that hard." Like the fight wasn't even that crazy. What the hell? Which then culminated in him having to grab her and run her through. Because one of the biggest characteristics of Marcus was new parkour. So he literally had to like parkour her way through the street to get, and nearly ripped every muscle in his body. But
So,
good lord, now that I say it out loud, oh, I'm almost.
Half the fun of this.
yeah, half the fun of this stuff.
Absolutely.
Um,
You gotta poke the brood. Gotta poke the.
so I don't know if you have your old profile open or not.
Yep.
Do you remember coming up with the combustion drive chi?
That was actually when because I can't believe I made Bakugo before Bakugo made Bakugo.
Mm-hmm.
For fun, like when I first watched um, what is it
My Hero?
Boku no Hero Academia.
Yeah.
When I first watched Boku no Hero, whatever it's called, My Hero Academia, sorry. And saw Bakugo's power set, I was like, God, that's
Mm-hmm.
Marcus.
Mm-hmm.
That's Marcus without the shitty attitude. Sorry, like Marcus would have. And I don't care, Bakugo fans, fucking fight me.
I
Um,
I do have to point out that Marcus is the only character that kept the chi from Gamble Fruit aspect.
Yeah.
Is most people that I gave chi to because of Gamble Fruit, like they were originally normies and then they unlocked their chi through Gamble Fruit, they would later be like, okay, well, that was fun. I'm going to now recreate my character's whole deal. And then their chi would
yeah.
change and not mention the Gamble Fruit or anything like that. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that was only just an important plot device, but
That's on you.
that's true.
Yeah.
I could have prevented it, but I would have felt bad.
Yeah.
Which
Like,
you should just put more of them to the correctional facility like me.
because that was the thing. It's like you had such a thing going on about the Gamble Fruit and about how like it's this really rare thing.
My
that I
God.
get apart, and then you give it to me, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking put that right on the freaking. Oh, Marcus had to go through all this bullshit. And like, I think I even did a thing where after he bit the gamble fruit, I did an entire thread of Marcus sitting on the very top of the dragon tower, just trying to like physically deal with the fact that he suddenly has chi.
Yeah.
Like literally, he's just on the thing, like shaking like a crack addict, just going, "What is happening to my body? Why can I suddenly make explosions with my?"
God, Gamble Fruit. How is Gamble Fruit still fucking relevant? Is
It's still a thing.
Well, hey, you know what? An idea is good. It's not a stupid idea.
I guess so.
And besides, it works for one. That was the other thing is the chi aspect brought this. The reason why I love chi, same reason why I loved Stan's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. There is no power level, only how you the ability and how you creative application is how what decides how strong you.
Yeah.
Marcus could have easily just been like because the joke we made when you rolled his power set was, oh great, he's basically an Electrode.
Yeah.
From fucking Pokemon. And I'm all like, okay, hold on. I don't want that. Okay, what if he used it to tell himself? What if he used it to do this, that, and the other? What if he can actually like time delay? What if and I think I even had a thread where I dragged David Blaze in and was like, I messaged him. Can I use David? It's super strong. It's way stronger than Marcus. And I use him to practice my chi. Can I basically just kick the shit out of him for a whole thread? How strong you can make it? Like, yeah. So yeah, I had an entire thread of him where we just literally fought him to like almost to the death. Like, no, I need you to go at me hard. I need to know how far I can push this. That's how he came up with the whole like, basically Marcus could fly. Marcus could fly just by making he was anything Bakugo did in My Hero was I was doing already with Marcus.
Oh yeah, and this is so. Oh God, this is a Generation 3 Chi is what I call it because we had two other Chi systems before this one. This one was the simple let's just do it power Chi. I think we're on Generation 8 now. Yeah, we're on the 8th version of the Chi system, and this one is my favorite so far.
That's cool. Yeah, because I've seen it before. Like I saw some of the old threads about like I was like, oh man, everyone's just like using it like points.
Yeah.
Like it's superpowers now. Everyone had to have two biggest ones was everyone had to be everyone had to be the fighting tanks. They had to be super resilient and super strong. One of the reasons why I liked Kenya, her one character Kyrie had the or not Kyrie. What was her other one?
Aaron?
Volkov, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aaron had the fire, but it wasn't just like, oh, I fire super destructive. She had creative applications for the fact that she had black fire, which I was like, cool.
Well, she also got from the Gamble Fruit.
Yeah.
I felt personally called out for my constitution.
Oh, weren't you like?
Yeah, it's probably from people who wanted to win. Like, it's like, well, that's the only reason why anyone would argue is, oh, well, I wanted to win though. So
I took my head. No, because of the bullshit thing. So did you know that Matthew was not always an Earthbender?
I think I remember something. I don't remember Matthew being 552.
Yeah, well, I mean, there was no sheep.
Oh, that's true.
But he was the Earth Dragon back
then.
Yeah.
No, on 259 with the original system, I actually as the chief evolved, canonically this was Matthew getting better control. So the first iteration was Matthew just naturally had an overwhelming amount of chi, but zero control of it. So it would come out of him like an aura, and basically if you're within 30 feet of him, your chi is nullified because it's other like no chi, bitches. Let's fucking do this.
That would have been. Oh, that I can imagine that would ruffle. That pissed me. But I'd be laughing.
People were nettled. So one person had like wind blades, and they'd like launch wind blades at Matthew, and they'd work, and they'd get within 30 feet, and they'd just vanish.
Yeah. It's like, so now what do you do?
Yeah.
It's like
no stands.
You're gonna have to actually fight me. Fucking dude.
That's the thing. Like she was a crutch for a lot. They just she was a crutch for people who couldn't martial arts, right martial arts moves.
You need with the new system, you need a lot of strategy too, because you have a limited amount of uses for your chi.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh my god, that's right. You did shadow powers too.
I
I'm
did
reading my freaking chi thing, and I'm like, wait, when the fuck did he have shadow powers?
because I think it was a reward for the Tengu squad.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. I'm not gonna lie. Rose was like a cool idea, and I liked the whole idea that they were the underdogs because I love underdogs.
Oh yeah,
But those guys from their, at the top were fucked over. Like I can't remember the dude's name. He caused such a fucking drama, bitch fit.
Thomas with
Kiyoshi.
I'm
what was his name?
Kiyoshi.
Yoshi. Yeah, I still remember when something I said as like a stab at someone else, and I'm literally like, "What the fuck?" I said that in confidence. What are you doing? Well, I don't care. Well, I kind of care. Where do you live? Like the kind of thing, right? Like I do not like it when people use my words and use that's a pet peeve.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always thought it was weird that you were in the Crows because I never thought that Marcus really belonged in the Crows.
He would have if they got their shit together. That's the problem.
Like real talk,
Like
you belonged in the Dragon Gang.
yeah. The thing was though, like I said, I love underdog stories, and I felt like everyone was a dragon.
That's only because I came back and actually started doing work because Corey was just sitting on his ass the whole time.
Yeah, I
and
was.
I realized that. And, like, if I could have gone back, I would have had him be a dragon. Like, no offense to the Crows or nothing,
Yeah.
but they needed a complete overhaul with who was in charge of it. Because, like, God bless Megan's soul. She tried. She
Oh,
really
yeah.
fucking tried.
Like I
And
had one of my characters was a founding member of the Crows, but I couldn't do GMing plus being in two different sides of it and give it my all. So I killed that crow off, and then stuck to the dragons. But once again, like I couldn't GM my own shit, so I was stuck waiting for Corey to do something.
yeah,
And then the crows, all of the crows threads that needed GMing was just basically increasing their own defenses and turtling, which
yeah,
not a bad strategy, just didn't go anywhere.
because that was the problem. You know why? Because it's all a delay tactic. No one wanted to actually have the story go. They're like, okay, well, we'll just keep doing this and see if someone does it.
I mean, that's
That's
why
why.
that's why the Dragons took over the rest of the wanted to do.
And that's probably also why you then grabbed Lila, made her a dragon, or like an honorary dragon. So I remember she got some shit.
He was made into like a voice or something. He was never
Yeah.
an actual full.
Oh yeah. But like, I definitely know you guys grabbed her, gave her some authority to actually do it, which was like, oh cool, now the crows are doing stuff.
The way I kind of viewed that is because listen, not to toot my own horn, like Matthew's gonna win.
Yeah.
Matthew's the one that got Barker. Matthew killed Barker and then brought him back, and then brought him into like a round table. Like you guys are just gonna. This is happening. So this was like a peace offering. You give the Crow leaders authority. They do things. They get some autonomy and from another civil war going because we still had at this point now striking and the aliens and the mask and other stuff going on.
I'm not gonna lie.
I got a lot of respect for Delilah in character and character though. Did the best she could with a crappy situation. And
crappy situation.
with the exception of yourself, very unmotivated teammate.
Yeah, that was what little teammates that we had. That's what made it suck even harder because had like 5 people, and 2 of us, like maybe 3 of us, because I know Gregory played not Lucian.
Yeah,
I think it was Lucian. Yeah, so he played it like he definitely was in there. Did the shit like Megan dragged him along for every since he joined. Megan dragged him along for every thread she did. I tried to join in on that too, but I wasn't in a good place creatively at the time for a lot of that. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of like every time I look back on it, I'm like, oh, shit. I didn't really give it my all. But like so it's like between the three of us, it was like three people don't make a faction.
Yeah.
Especially one where the opposing or not opposing faction, other faction has like 10 people, and 4 of them are like people with multiple characters, and all the characters are doing all.
I mean, that was my tactic. Is I came in there and I was just like, it was a blitzkrieg.
Yeah,
it worked.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's I had already seen it happen on 5.5.2 several times, and this happens a lot again in these like PvP centric situations. Is eventually get to this balance where you get like a couple of strong factions and nobody moves, and you get this Cold War.
Mm-hmm.
Like Cold Wars can be played well. Cold War can be played well if everyone does the whole covert sneaky.
They
No
never
one
are.
wanted to even do that.
They never are though.
Yeah.
Because something bad could happen to your character.
Yep.
Oh God,
Fail.
fuck. Yeah, that whole mentality. I have opinions. I have opinions about that mentality.
Share them, my friend. This is why you're the guest.
Indeed.
Oh my God. Whole concept of because here's the problem. One of the biggest reasons I hate it, I have seen it occur in real life with LARPs.
Mm-hmm.
There was a LARP that I did. Had someone show up halfway through the LARP that was going on. We're halfway through the session. They show up like, oh hey, I'm here. Yeah, I want to do a thing with my character. Fine. This thing happens. By the way, your character gets knocked out. Oh, I don't want to play now. I want to back out. Oh, leave then. Don't come back. Like people who are that afraid of having I was willing to have anything happen. If someone could explain, if someone could convince me that it is a thing that is within the realm of possibility, if Matthew decided to mark us up in the underground, I would have literally been like, yeah, okay, that happens. That it makes sense. He more than he can shoot. He fought fucking the Earth Dragon. Yeah, that happens. Oh, his legs are broken, can't walk again. I guess that's his story now. No, it's don't be afraid to let bad shit happen to your character. That's where good storytelling.
I agree completely. I was gonna say when I first joined, I was I asked John, I was like, so what do I do? He's like, anything. Just know that your character can die. I was like, all right, what and if my character dies, then make a new one.
Yeah.
Okay. I was but one of the things I noticed, even early on, is for instance, I talked about earlier, Matthew punched Rye through a wall. Yeah. If Rye never took the initiative to challenge Matthew in that moment, Matthew would have never been like, all right, you seem alright, I guess I'll train you, and Rye would have never been put on the dragon path.
Yeah.
I feel he was saying he started doing stuff. Well, not only was he doing stuff, but he was telling for instance, Rye and Kier were both working under him, and he did not hesitate to tell our characters, all right, now go do shit over here, and go do shit over here, and go do shit over here.
Yeah.
And got involved in the story.
I know, it's shit like that I was wistfully. I'm not gonna lie. From my corner of the thing, I was wistfully looking over at you guys I could have that if I wasn't chained. If I wasn't chained to fucking Anaheim. They gave Marcus Anaheim and was like, that's yours. And I'm like, cool. Here's the plans I want to do with it. What else do you need me to do? Absolutely fuck all. Oh shit.
That was your prison.
It was. And I played it up Marcus was going insane. Being stuck there. That's why every chance I could, if I could get Marcus out of there and into someone else's thread, he's there. And literally his justification would always be, I need to get out. I am actually going crazy.
Well, and mirroring you with the bad stuff, when Matthew got his arm ripped off, that has become a constant and a callback. Every iteration of Matthew since, he always loses that arm in some way. It becomes a planning thing. So in the whole multiverse of Matthew, he always loses that arm.
Well, you know what? It could be worse. It happened to Matthew. Could have happened to Leon. I distinctly remember one time a rather important part of his anatomy got ripped off.
Going out for your homies.
So.
And you know whose fault that was? Fucking Miyoko.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Didn't he literally just jump you in the hospital and fucking rip it off right then?
So we had 2 fights previously. One was just a fight for training. The other one was a fight that I wanted because I was like, I've gotten better, so I'm gonna fight you again. But Leon was still injured. And then they ended that fight with Miyoko running him over with a truck.
I remember that as well.
And then he ended up in the hospital, and Miyoko showed up and was like, well, torture time. And apparently my not giving up on the thread and just keep replying was like a challenge to him. It's like, oh, I haven't done bad enough stuff to where you haven't quit yet.
Yeah. Okay, I see. Yeah. You know what? I kind of had an experience like that myself. Who was the? He was one of the Crow top brass. He had a character named Thrust.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know him, right?
Yeah.
Well, you know he had that. You know he had Winkle.
Yes.
Oh god.
Yeah. So I was like, you. He's like,
Ah.
okay, and I played it off that all the gross ass shit that Winkle was actually real. So Marcus played it all completely straight. And I literally would be like, come on, post. I dare you. See what else you do? And he'd be like, okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm like, yeah, I made him
Become
stop.
a legend. That shit. You know, don't become a legend because like, oh yeah, you know, I dodged the attack and legend because you fucking dove with the Earth Dragon underground to fight him in the Earth because you fucking are the one that made Winklewood blink.
No one cares about the story about the person all the time. Everyone wants to hear about the guy that got the shit rocked out of him and he still gets back up again. That's why that trope is so fucking popular.
Yeah.
Honestly, now that I think about it, that's probably the source of like popularity was getting the shit kicked out of him, kept getting up every single fucking time.
Well, that's how Leon worked.
Yep. Oh god.
So my next question is going to be, what would you say your I mean, you talked about your early inspirations being yourself, right?
Yeah.
Near the end, what was your inspiration that you were going into with Marcus, like music wise or maybe media wise, or what were you pulling from?
Oh, so like you're talking about like his on the 2-5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was the point where I was like, okay, done some shit, had his arc. There's a lot of unfinished business. I want him to be older, tired, like the retired badass. So that was kind of the trope I was going for.
Get too
Where what?
Get too old for this shit.
Yeah, pretty much. But he's like, you know, fucking what was it? Soul Eater. He wanted to be like, I wanted to make him like Stein, tired, but he still wants to fuck with. Like, because he knows he's that good. He knows he's strong enough to know what he can get away with. So he wants to push people constantly. Like, what can I get away with you? What can I get away with you? While at the same time, obfuscate the whole idea of, oh, I'm just some dude. Don't mind me until he like does a Marcus. I won't lie though. One of the problems that I kind of had that I regret when I brought him back up again is, so you guys were talking about how like you all had your moment where your characters cemented themselves as legend. The problem was I feel like I never had the chance to cement Marcus as a legend before acting like. I kind of feel like I jumped the gun quickly and expected people to treat him like a legend before I had a chance to actually cement him.
We all did.
And yeah, and a lot of my earlier when I joined 259, I was like, no, he's a legend. He's done this shit. And literally, I had a thread where I was like, hey, I did my introductory thread where I was like, hey, everyone, it's me again. And one person was like, you, and I was like, oh, there goes pieces of my ego. Holy shit! Excuse me, I'll just sweep this up in this fucking dustpan, dump that in the trash.
It took me so long to accept my old B/legend status. I think I was already, I don't know, 3 years, 4 years into 259 before I like turned to some of the other guys and I was like, so do you think I've done it yet? And they're like, what?
Yeah.
It's like, game like you guys, fucking a big name. And they were like, you did that a long time ago. I was like, no, what?
It's a trip. It's a trip to actually like see and look at it. I was a lot like that too with suddenly becoming the center of attention. It took me a while to kind of get over And I'm pretty sure I let it go to my head. It, especially with some of the threads where I literally had Marcus kind of walking around with a fucking like, what are they called? What do you know when the commander walks around with that whip stick?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like he had that kind of attitude going on a lot in the before 552 collapsed, which is kind of why I'm glad he had a humble moment. Actually, had a humble moment at the very end. He thought he had everyone dead to rights, and everyone was literally looking at him like, "Holy shit, he has it rights." Yeah, and Mayoko came up and fucked it all up. Literally, like suddenly there's this ambush, suddenly getting carted off and thrown into trucks, and he's literally like, "No, no, I had it solved. What are you doing? I had it solved." And everyone literally looking at him like, "Fuck! It's all broken. It's all tumbled to the ground." Like, was left speechless. And I was like, I'm like, at the time, I was like, "Fuck, oh, that kind of sucks." But now I'm like, no, that was a perfect way to. But
Any,
yeah, no, it took me a while before I realized that, like, because for the longest time, I actually didn't know what his adult play by would have been. So I kind of just like not until one day, just I think I watched Conan and was like, yeah, boop, and thought Jason Momoa is Mark.
right
You
on.
were right.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm actually super happy that my the one art commission from Vesper's still there, or Van, sorry. His art commission's still there.
Yeah, the 259
Yeah,
Deviant is still up and running, and I've added to it a couple times.
nice.
But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and move into final questions,
Yeah, no problem.
so we can wrap this thing up. Ryan, do you want to go first?
So we've been kind of more. I mean, with the exception of tangents, but like with direct questions, we've been more on the serious end of things. As we're going out, I want to know what was your favorite, most ridiculous moment? And
Ooh, that's so. There was a lot. Like, here's the thing. Like I said, I initially made Marcus to the trickster. Like, he
right,
absolutely wanted to be. One of the most ridiculous still has to be the one where okay, memories are flooding back on me a little. It was literally I can't remember who exactly was in. You know that I can't even remember the names, but there was a lot of like the more serious in the thread, and it was a whole bunch of the female characters were in the male's bathroom, and they were trying to help someone do a thing. I can't remember what. Someone was in one of the stalls trying to find a Twinkie in a toilet or something like that. Don't ask me why. And yeah, a lot of weird. And literally, I was like, "Oh, this is perfect. This is fucking perfect." So they're in serious conversation, all talking, and they're all like, "Yeah, this is happening. This," and when out of nowhere, all of a sudden, the door kicks open. Marcus walks in, just whistling to himself, like "do do do do." Oh, and I specifically typed that he stops, looks at the mall, takes a couple steps back, looks at the door, and is like, "Male's bathroom." Do 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 do. Walks right by them all, jumps into a stall, and spends the rest of the thread in that stall. Near the end of that thread, Marcus finally comes out, and as they're having this like conversation, just hands, walks over, notices them again. It's like, "Oh no, this is Anne's bathroom," and points to the one character who apparently was I don't know if they were female presented male or was just a tomboy character. Not sure because it was a while back, but he was just like, well, except for him, he could stay. I mean, and just keeps walking out. It was so fucking surreal because the whole thing was this really like kind of like tense conversation interchange with Marcus just
yeah.
like I didn't go into like growth or nothing, but like, it was, the whole thing was just
oh yeah. I gotta say one of my favorite ridiculous moments with Marcus was on 259. That was I had just there was an event thing that was going on that I'd been the Crows, and I remember I GM'd it, and they had all kind of done their own thing, and like Lila and like Lucian and like one of the other characters, so they're kind of like sitting there having this powwow and they're talking. Marcus was like, "Well, I'm not into this," and just like, "Well, you know what? I'm just gonna go look around." I was like, I don't have anything planned for you to look around." I like started sitting there panicking, and I was like, "John, what do I do?" He's like, "Just give him something to find." I was like, "Okay," and I said, Marcus found a wooden spoon, the random wooden spoon, and like I came up with this big grandiose backstory for this single spoon that had no purpose. And Marcus was like, "Hell yes, this is the spoon." And then the favorite part was just like later on, like in like the big war council with the dragons and the crows and with everybody, like they were having this discussion. Marcus just kind of sits down, pulls out the spoon, and starts sucking on it. I was like, "I remember that spoon," and it just kills me to this day. I loved that. That like cracked me up so hard.
Oh yeah, if I had an item, I would, because that's the thing is I was obsessed with comedic timing with Marcus. If I had an item, I'm like, what would be the best time? This needs to come up again, but I'm gonna put this under my hat now. I'm gonna bring that up.
That's fantastic. But yeah, no, I just love that moment. And like that's one of the key moments. I was like I said, Marcus did like a bunch of little like interesting things, but there were so many witty things that he did that just made him so memorable to me, like to this day. That was one of my favorite ones.
Oh my god.
All right, Ryan.
A kind of a two-parter. So between 552 and 259, you could pick any character, be able to RP for you to RP for a single thread. Which would it be? And alternatively, which RPer would you want to see do a thread with their playing Marcus?
Ooh.
Oh, holy shit. Should I actually have? You know what? I kind of have an off the cuff, and it would be I would love to actually get my hands on Gist or Geist.
All right.
Because I would love to put my own spin on Geist. I'm not gonna lie. Geist was a cool concept that I feel like wasn't used. I would have loved to get my hands on him and just make him be the most smart, like just the most fucking insufferable motherfucker I ever met. But like kind of like the whole idea of like can't help but agree. Like he would literally be the living embodiment of you're an asshole, but you got a point.
That would I mean I agree with you there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And who I'd want to play Mark? That's actually a tough one.
Mm.
Um, just because of his nature, like wasn't a lot like he didn't play like a lot of people would have played him. You know what I mean? Like
I know
who?
that's who would you whose interpretation of Marcus would like be most interested in seeing?
Good question. Holy shit. Huh.
Be a different character. Would not be the Marcus that we all know him.
Right.
Yeah. But like, who would I like want to see put their spin on it? Kind of idea. You know, I don't know. I like again off the cuff. I almost want to say in Delilah just because I love the way she RPs.
That's fair.
She's very fucking witty. I would also say I would love to see what you would do with Marcus, just because he's so not what you.
It's very true.
Yeah, I would want to. I would want to see you try to.
Be interesting. It'd be an interesting challenge. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I would read both of those.
Yeah, because I still remember like. Actually, no. I'll stick to the question because I know I'm kind of eating up.
No, you're good.
Yeah, because I was good.
Like 4 hours.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, 3 hours and 20 minutes.
Wait, that is how long you gotta go? Gotta wake up or what? What?
Oh no, we pre-gamed before you got here, so we were on the stream for like over an hour before you got on.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say like one of the things where I realized that Rye was nothing like Marcus was the one fight we had after Rye got his cheat. Was Rye? I think you came to me or I came to you. No, I came to you. I was like, you need someone for you to do to you what David Blaze did for Marcus. Like you need someone to just go nuts with power with.
Oh, yeah.
And Marcus spent the entire fight trying to goad Rai into it and just like beat the crap out of him. Was like, "Come on, get up! You're worthless. Go get mad." Every time Rai was cool, and it was driving him crazy. He was so upset. He's like, "Why is he not losing his shit? Why is he? Come on, show me passion."
Should have tried
And
punching him in the nose.
Yeah.
You know what? That's probably the one.
Yeah, Riley the entire time was like, "You're such a good mentor. Thank you for this."
Thank you, sir. May I have another? Fuck, stop it.
Be like at the end of it, be like, I'm really impressed with how you handled yourself. Let's go pick up some chips and like just take him to a bar at the Wingman. They'll get a reaction out of him.
But yeah, you get a reaction out of Rai every time.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, that was. Yeah, I kind of regret that you and I never got to have a lot of. Honest, especially considering Marcus thought of him.
I mean, it would have been fun, and I get it. Things happen, man. But like I said, but at least I will say this, like I said earlier, like my times, like the few threads I did have with Marcus were memorable enough that like anytime like Leon brings you up in conversation, I'm like, yeah, that guy.
Were you
So-
there? Were you there when Marcus because I know Kiri was there. I don't know if you were. I think you were. It was like this. Thread that we had with me, Delilah, Kiri, and a couple other people. I can't remember who exactly. And they were all kind of like, "Oh, we did this," and everyone's chilling out. And worst case happened, Marcus got bored and decided to then immediately grab Kiri and slow dance with her in the hall that they were in, and was like, "No, y'all should be dancing now. Grab someone, start dancing."
Tanya loved that. Sucker for life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I don't think I was for that one because that sounds amazing, and I feel like I would remember that.
yeah. I feel like you were. So I can't remember. It was a while. I'm not gonna lie. I loved the thread I had with Tan.
Although I think I
Jesus.
remember a similar thread, if not the same one, where I think Rai was with Lucian and somebody else, and they were like, "Let's go steal booze." And I remember Rai being like, "Well, I don't really drink, but okay." And like the three of them just went to steal booze for the party.
Yeah. No. Okay. I think I remember that. There's a lot of like memories. It was such like playing Shin actually took up a lot of my like years. Like the years that I played it, a lot of it is Shin is like one of the top memories that I like crop up in my head.
Mm-hmm. All right, so before we go into the final question in the outro, do you have any questions for us? You can ask us individually or blanket question.
Huh. I actually got to think. Because I kind of only because I kind of feel like I asked a lot of them already. Like you know what I mean? Like in the beginning conversations, like I got a lot of because a lot of it would have been to do with like what kind of weird explanations on some of the weird shit that I kept noticing. The context behind a lot of the drama that occurred over my head
Yeah.
that I was like not privy to, but I kept seeing scenes like I kept seeing the cracks in the walls. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you guys kind of explained that pretty. Any other questions I could think of would probably be have to do with like what the state of the form is now, basically. But that we could always like that will probably end up going over like after the show.
Well, I mean, if you can narrow it down to like a couple of specifics, we can cover that, and then because that's a good plug for the site as it is now, anyway.
Yeah.
We can go into that, and then I'll do the final question. And we can wrap up.
I think because I know Rai said it specifically. What would the rest of you guys? What would your guys' like fondest Marcus would be? Or I don't know if you guys maybe answered.
So,
You already
well, no, that was my favorite. My fondest would have to be Leon's return during the Green Rebellion when Marcus was fighting people in the courtyard, and Leon just showed up and wrecked his shit and was like, "No, you were my star pupil," and Marcus was like, "Ah, I have to change my ways because this isn't the way you taught me." And I was like, ah, this is perfect.
Oh fuck! I forgot about that. Holy shit! Yeah, actually.
Can confirm that with living with him. I've heard this story like 3 or 4 times easily.
I think that was the point where Marcus would. No, that is. Oh my god. For that, Marcus was like he went to the meeting and
Mhm.
was like, okay, yeah, I guess I'm just gonna go shit out of some people. It happens. But it wasn't until Leon had that where Marcus was like, okay, I gotta actually step up and do something. And I think after we had that thread was when I had the thread with Ark and where Marcus actually like cemented his status as no, I'm taking over. No one else is driving this train. I'm gonna do it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, holy shit. It's weird. It's weird feeling the memories come back.
Yeah. Uh,
Just, oh,
I get that a lot with talking to some of the old bees who haven't been on in a long time, and then I'll mention
Ooh.
something. Just we'll be talking about real life, and then suddenly a memory will hit me, and I'll be like, "Hey, you remember this?" And then it just becomes this 16-hour conversation.
yeah, yeah. Oh god, I would be an old, wouldn't I?
Yep.
Oh lordy. Yeah, back in my day, crumble, crumble, crumble.
Makes you feel any better. Whenever I joined 552, all the top echelon characters I considered old bees at the time.
Yeah, no, that tracks. That makes sense.
Mine's pretty simple. Nobody else has the fucking balls to go into the ground with that.
Oh, for real.
10 out of 10, legend forever, legends never die.
That was a good. Like I was like emotionally, that one was one of my favorites. Marcus got so much off his chest with that one.
Like, all of their differences aside,
Yeah.
after that moment, Matthew can't help but respect Marcus.
Yeah.
Because of that. I mean, no one, Leon wouldn't even do that because that's suicide.
Yeah.
That was the
So-
whole thing with. You go ahead.
Oh no, so I was gonna say, so I mean, like that for me, fucking chef's kiss. It was because I mean, at that point, it's not about winning or losing. It was just like that is such a moment. And I know you were talking about like okay, he goes in here and if he gets like fucking killed or permanently maimed, yeah, sure, what happened. And when you're talking about that, I'm just thinking like, why would I ruin such a perfect moment?
Yeah.
It's like shattering a stained glass window.
Yeah, that would ruin all of the tension, dramatic catharsis of that moment. It's like Marcus braves this thing that nobody else has ever had the balls to do. He doesn't include it. He doesn't try to negate it. He doesn't knock Matthew off course. He fucking buckles in, does the whole thing. If he comes out dead or permanently crippled or something like that, no one will ever do something like that again. It's ruined. If he comes back beat, sure, yeah, Matthew won the fight. What did you think was going to happen? But holy shit, you have this camaraderie, this brotherhood, like this that moment. That's what would have made Matthew on.
Good lord! I still remember the exact words you told me after that whole thing happened. Was I could have killed you, but this is.
It is. It is. Yes, I could have killed. There's times that all of our characters could have killed each of us.
Yeah.
But I mean, it really was. It was funnier. It was dramatic. Gave the thread meaning. Like if that had just been Marcus's thread, it would have been like, okay, you get a few, and then whatever.
Yeah, that would have been very unsafe.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. This was way funnier.
Oh yeah, because like his whole thing was like the whole thing he had with Matthew was, why did you leave? Why did you start this movement and just dump it on our shoulders to sort it out ourselves? And I think Matthew's response was like, YOLO.
I mean, probably, but like the real reason is Matthew didn't have a choice. Matthew was literally trapped in 259.
Yeah.
And then in a correctional facility. Matthew was abducted.
Yep.
He didn't have a choice.
Fuck, that's right too. Ah, shit.
And also in that moment, like I can see it going both ways. Where he like why'd you leave? I didn't have a choice. versus why not? It just fucking 20 grand. I'm like, what are you gonna do? Punch me? Like, yes, yes, the hatred flew through me.
I wanted to test the limits. Oh, no, what is that fucking thing? Fucking Itachi says I wanted to test the limits of my resolve or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Listen,
Our entire family, Matthew.
I do the kid. Bow wow.
Yes. Do it. So with the final question on my end here, the experience of the Shiniverse is really molded by two separate things: is the in character and the out of character. And as all good stories require drama, what is the out of character drama that kind of shaped your experience with the Shiniverse?
I'm not gonna lie, there was a lot, and I wouldn't even say shaped in a good way.
Oh, no.
No, it never does really.
Yeah, there was. I had a whole thing, so I almost don't want to talk about it just because I don't know who would be if they would be hearing it. But at the same time, it's been like 20 years, whatever.
Right.
But Marcus had a love interest. Marcus had a love interest, and the person who played that love interest was a very manipulative person
Mm.
and tended to enjoy manipulating men. And as much as I don't like to admit it, I absolutely part of that group that she absolutely manipulated. And it ended up actually culminating in having a massive shit fest with another player, all because she was sitting back kind of stoking the flames on both our sides. I don't know if you guys caught wind of this at all, but I know Teal tried to mitigate it because he got caught up in the middle of it. I know that definitely soured a lot of storytelling I wanted to do because it felt like every time I tried to do something her, like every time her and I posted, something always had to go to shit, and it was always for the most arbitrary reason, and that made me very nervous to actually roleplay with her for a while. So that was definitely a bit very well done without, and I'm really glad that she's not even in my radar anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is. He's not in our radar.
Good. And if anyone's curious, no, I'm not talking about Autumn. Autumn and I, yes, got married. Yes, we got divorced. I wish her well. She's back in Florida, hopefully living a very good life. No hard feelings there. Like I kind of feel like I want to put that. I know some people. I don't know if people still on the board know her, and we're probably wondering what was going on behind the scenes. Like that's fine. Yes, we dated. Yes, we got married. Yes, we got divorced. It was amicable. It was mutual. Everything's cool. The person I'm talking about is someone.
Yeah, I did not know that you got divorced, but that's not who I was thinking. So
Yeah, good.
I'm hoping
I don't
you-
want people thinking that because I'm being intentionally vague because I don't want to like point fingers.
Right.
But the person I'm talking about probably also hurt a lot of it. Like I know for a fact she hurt a lot of other male players. A lot of them I still talk like well not talk to, but I still have kind of idea. So it's like that was always a piece of drama that was my personal like thing that pissed me off the most because it not only robbed me a lot of really good storytelling. Yes, yes, yes. Fuck her. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
For anyone wondering, Matt just sent me her username. Yes.
As far as I know, she's not in any part of the community at all.
No, not
She
anymore.
pissed everybody off. Fuck. I know she's got her issues. I don't wish her harm, but at the same time, like, fuck, girl. I hope you got your head checked. You got some issues.
First part too is like we were all like 15, 16 years older too.
Yeah. She there was a lot of that, and it actually, funny enough, took Autumn pointing out a lot of stuff before I even realized that there was something going on. And I eternally grateful to her for the fact that she actually like woke me up to a lot of the bullshit. But that was rough. That was actually a rough bit of drama. I know you guys probably wanted something a bit more funnier for the whole drama talk, but that was actually something that really negatively affected me and my RPing, and actually made me a little bit more insecure about like wanting to give Marcus like another love interest.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is the good, the bad, and the ugly, man. Like,
Yeah.
This is exactly what I would have wanted. It's something real.
yeah,
Yeah.
If anyone's watching this, now or in the future, if they ever, often people watch the old episodes, this is something that's going to happen to other peers. This is something that is a repeat pattern, not just with this person, but it's a genre that happens in
Yeah.
like this kind of stuff has happened. It's
Yeah.
not okay, and it's okay to remove yourself from those situations if you start feeling like you are being manipulated and taken advantage of. Even though it's hard to realize that you are sometimes.
yeah,
Not
very
only
much
that,
so.
like, say not only that, notice the whole gender. It's like me, a dude, being manipulated by. Because normally a lot of these stories you hear, it's an older man and a younger woman or a younger girl,
Right.
and that story, like, creatingly common as well. So you're like a guy and this kind of shit's happening. Don't be afraid to speak up about it. Don't be afraid to go to a mod about it. Because yes, this happens to everybody. Yes, this happens to dudes too. It doesn't matter what gender you are. Fucking, if someone is playing head games with you, fucking go to someone. That shit's not fun. It ruins the game.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah. Well, that's a lovely way to cap off.
Hey, man, like,
If you want, I'll turn it a little bit positive. I will say that someone that met his wife role playing, known her for 10+ years now, and we are still best friends. Sometimes it really can blossom into something, but you need to be aware of how it's developing and what it is. If it's like really passionate, really hot and go, and a lot of drama, and like screw this person, screw that person, toxic. If you are finding that there are problems and drama, and it's not unfortunate. It is not, wow, this person's really unlucky. They are drawing that, and they are drawing it to you.
yes.
Guarantee you. Like, they might be the nicest person in the world, but if they are constantly having a dramatic life and like things just seem to keep happening, run.
Oh, yeah.
Also, another point of positive. Sorry, Leon.
No, I was just, yeah, agreeing. I'm nodding.
Oh, okay. It's just because I know I have a really. Just get really aware of when I do. No. Your turn. I was gonna say, if another point of positivity, Autumn and I were in a long distance relationship. Other people who are in a long distance relationship want to know what the secret is. Communication. You gotta be talking. Like, and it seems like a duh thing. It's like, no, you actually have to talk about everything, even the bad stuff, especially the bad stuff. Because your only barometer for how the relationship is going is literally the words you type on the screen. So if you're not being not being truthful, if you're not being like true to each other, like not in the fucking hoity-toity sense, but I mean, like, if you guys are not, if you're hiding things, don't do that. That's easily that. You want to know the quickest way to ruin a long distance relationship? Hide shit from each other. And same goes for like an actual.
Oh, and I guess
when it got to the end, when we ended up getting like divorced, we were very clear and precise and truthful to each other about the whole thing. We didn't hide nothing. We didn't hide our feelings. Like, we were very to the point of wrong. Upfront with each other about how things were going, and we were just like, you know what, this isn't working out. Thanks for trying. Have fun back in Florida. Good life.
And to the point of view of my end of that kind of thing is, I had issues in school and stuff like that with making friends. I was really mean and quiet, and I picked on people. I was I was not a cool person. But when I joined 552 and I started making friends on the site, and I was spending more and more time in front of my computer and talking to them and coming out of my shell, realizing what kind of an asshole I was. Uh, People are going to say that your online friends can't be your real friends, but I've not had realer friends than the ones that I've made online. They've been thick and thin kind of people, like to the point where a majority of them showed up for my first wedding.
Dude, we
Yeah.
were your groomsman and best man, like
Yeah.
in for life.
Yeah, like the people you meet online are as much your family as anybody else.
But also be smart too, because not everyone online is telling the truth.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, as
Be
has
smart.
been discussed.
So be smart, but these relationships matter, and that the fights and drama and hard feelings that you have over time, those will fade. I mean,
Mhm.
hell, look at me and Marcus here. I like to think that we get along okay now. That was not always the case because out of character drama felt like the most important thing in the world sometimes.
Yeah.
Same with Leon. I cannot count how many times me and Leon have fought and then been best friends and then fought and been best friends.
Yeah. Little petty arguments here and there.
Me and Falinor, I respect the dude. I think he's an awesome role player, but at the time, I thought he was like the most nasty shit. Love you, dude.
Uh,
Dude, he's like into like philosophical debates and like global geopolitical conversations.
That is so cool, actually.
yeah.
He's a fascinating person.
No, I would love to actually like.
But that will be the end of this out of in character episode 4. 4. 5 will be Thursday, hopefully. And then 6 will be this weekend.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, thanks for coming in and getting real with us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this was good, man.
Enjoyed it.
And I'd like to thank my co-hosts for their intuitive questions and speeches and actually just being here.
So Raj, before we go, is there anything you want to plug that you're doing or?
Yeah.
Really? Not gonna lie, I kind of live a quiet. I don't really have any projects ongoing at the moment.
Right on. All right. Well, see the crowd next time, all 5 of you who usually come in. Peace.
The chick in the band from Yes Man, like name them all by name.
Yeah.
Like, this is my audience. Woo! Like way off in the fucking.